Guardians, we've picked up a high-gain transmission. Origin point is somewhere along the coast, near the Cosmodrome.
All right, folks. All right. Welcome to Cosmodrome Radio, episode 56. We are here for episode 56. Well, I'm going to go ahead and swap over the screen because I didn't swap over the screen because I have like 2 brain cells. But it's fine. I already did the intro. It's cool.
Professional streamer.
Dude, this is what I used to do on PD, and boy, I'm glad it's not just me that used to have to do that.
It's a struggle, but yes, welcome everybody to Cosmodrome Radio episode 56. We are back. We are popping. We love what we do. This is a show all about Destiny 2 and all the great things about it, both from a casual perspective and from a hardcore perspective. We look at both sides of the coin and give you our opinions. So we are here chopping it up, doing what we do and we do best, and we having a good time about it. Don't forget that you can follow this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify. Actually, no, Google Podcasts actually doesn't exist.
Yeah, it died.
It died. It got integrated into YouTube as of last week, which I thought was insane. I was like, yo, why am I getting this email? Google doesn't care anymore. So, yes, you can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, all those places. If you want to check out the merch store, check out the merch. We're going to be having a brand new design that we'll be releasing with Final Shape, featuring Craig the Dreg. We love him as our mascot, so make sure you check that out. And yes, Dan, since you know about Craig, the Discord bot, that's why Craig is named that, because of that. Because there'd be so many times we would start the show with FU Craig, because he was so loud.
we would do the same thing, because we're like, God, why does he keep leaving? He keeps leaving in the middle of the show. It's like, we're trying to run a professional thing here. And people get upset.
But yes, my name is Jay Paracausal. We host this podcast here on my channel every week. We also have it edited and available for you on those podcast platforms every Monday. We are going to be chatting up. Honestly, I'm glad I am not the villain for once this week. I am so thankful I am not the villain.
Oh, Lord.
Our villain is below me, or below me on mobile, to the right of me on desktop. But with the shades on and everything. Diva, how you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm here to show you the proper way, the righteous way.
Oh, Lord.
Well, my Morpheus stuff today. Don't even worry about it.
Morpheus. I mean, maybe Morpheus from the 80s
had like some smaller glasses. And then to my left arm, to my right arm a little bit farther down on my right, we have the spicy man himself, Cajun. How was your nap? How you doing?
I got my sleep in. I'm doing good, man. I'll tell you what, this week's been a bit of a roller coaster, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But I will say it did feel good to stream again back in the Destiny 2 directory. It felt good. We definitely had some really good conversations this week over on my stream. But I'm looking forward to tonight's conversation about everything that went down.
This is going to be a fun conversation tonight.
Oh, man. All right. And then our special guest, who has graciously joined us, Destiny 2 streamer and variety streamer, man with the plan himself and the green screen of power to the left for once instead of behind him. Danfinity,
I can move it behind me if you want.
That's cool. Diva's the one with the green screen, ironically enough. But how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. I can't complain.
Well,
Thank you
want
so
to
much for
tell
having
people
me.
what you're doing when they can find you?
Yeah. Hi, my name is Danfinity. I do PvE things mainly in the Destiny 2 directory. We help out folks with raids, with GMs, all sorts of stuff. Also playing more variety content over Twitch TV/Danfinity. You can also find me on the Twitter and the Instagram and everywhere else at DanfinityGG. So I've been in the Destiny community for, oh my God, since Rise of Iron. I think it was Rise of Iron that I was like, that I started working on content stuff.
Okay.
For Destiny 2. And then I was originally on the Destiny tracker team, and then shortly thereafter on the Planet Destiny team. And now I'm on my own team. That's I'm trying to be a one-man dynamo. in
There
that
you
Hey,
go.
sense.
nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
No,
we
not
respect
at
it.
all. By the way,
right.
speaking of the variety thing, have you played Final Fantasy VII Rebirth yet?
Here we go.
Oh my
Okay.
God! Here we go. Time to
Okay.
time to go ahead and do the pitch, huh?
Look, okay. So, the last Final Fantasy that I played with any earnest intent was 15, and I loved it. I loved the road trip, just bros being bros, going on a road trip to save the world. I thought that was fine. I have not. I think I picked up Remake back when it launched. I played a little bit of it and I was like, not for me. And so I've been off the train.
Oh.
I've been off the train. People keep trying to get me to play 14. Off the train.
Don't feel bad, Dan, because I've never played a Kingdom Hearts game. I've never played a Final Fantasy game other than Kingdom Hearts.
Motherfucking audacity!
So these boys give me a lot of crap. I even talk about how I hate Squall Heart and his 12 belts. But like,
I'm not going that. Listen here, I'm not going that far. I love a floating school. Okay, I love a floating school. I played that back when I was in high school. It was great. I just my interests and my preferences have changed.
I feel that. I feel that.
Like,
That's fair enough. That's fair enough.
Yes. So that's
All right.
nothing against it. You do you, boo boo. But I can't. Yeah, I'm very much on the. It's not my piece of cake. It's not the cake that I enjoy.
Fair enough.
That is totally valid. That is totally valid. All right. Well, let's go ahead and dive into the mischief and whatnot, because this has been a very interesting week, to say the least, to be a Destiny fan, I will say. Like, Bungie has fundamentally took us to highs and then took us to lows and then met us in the middle this week. And it has been very interesting. So, those who don't know, on Tuesday, we have part 2 of the Into the Light showcases. They sat down and talked about specifically what do we have in store from a rewards perspective. We finally figured out where on God Green Earth Eva Levante goes every freaking holiday after when she's done, which
That
blew
was
my
hilarious,
mind.
but at the same time, kind of depressing at the same fucking time. It was like, oh my God, the tower has a warehouse section.
I mean, I've been saying we even have the Guardian Games merch of Craig pulling Eva out of the broom closet. So I knew there had to be some kind of thing going on. But like, at least we have confirmation of where everything goes. So that's good. But then we go into the Hall of Champions, which for those who don't know, and I thought was kind of funny, part of the entrance into the Hall of Champions showed like the tail end of the 0 Hour mission, and I was like, oh, what we doing here? This must be on purpose. And then Bungie goes, hey, we got something in store for you next week. I'm like, but we'll get to that. But we go in, and Bungie sort of sets the scene for us where like we have hollow shaxes and chests galore and all this good stuff. And they show us Recluse and show us all this fun stuff. And they're like, yo, you have the ultimate way to focus these weapons, these 12 weapons that we are reprising with some new roles, some old roles with some new tweaks, a new frame for one of them that Cajun confirmed or like guessed last week. Like, that was really funny. Like, Bungie sort of set it all up and like he said, hey, we're gonna have chest galore while you're playing Onslaught for you to make it rain. And I thought that was so cool of them to be like, yo, as long as you play the content, you get rewards upon rewards. There's 2 different tracks, one from Shax and one for our site, which is kind of reminiscent of the 30th anniversary, where you had a Zur thing and a Star Horse thing. So that was kind of cool. But then they showed everybody Super Black. And I heard the cries of hunters throughout the galaxy. And it was like, wow,
I'm
here
gonna tell
we
you
go.
right now, it wasn't just freaking hunters. It was freaking warlocks. I heard some titans. Look, anybody that ever grew up with a freaking emo phase just freaking like said
the hot topic fashionistas everywhere.
There you go.
I don't know, man. I prefer my amethyst veil because I like my little pink accents. I don't need just white accents with my black. I like having a little bit of flair with it. But like, yes, upon completing Shax's entire rank quest and completing Arsight's rank quest, you get 2 keys. You have to do both Shax and Arsight to get both keys, both Alpha and Omega, I believe. And once you get it, you get both keys, it unlocks this weird symbiote sphere that has super black.
You do know what that is, right?
Not off the top of my head, no.
Okay,
black
so
heart?
FYI, when I was watching it and when I did my recording for my TikTok video, I called it Siva because it looks similar to Siva, but Sticky corrected me, which, by the way, Sticky, thank you on that one. That has the appearance of Blackheart.
The Heart of the Black Garden.
Yeah. So that means we've had it contained in the fucking tower this entire time.
I mean, we're still sitting on the Crown of Sorrow, so like, that's the first time we had some weird shit in the tower.
The random shit that we just leave like lying around here.
Dude,
And they think
I'm
I'm the
right
bad
now, that
guy.
when I saw the freaking opening of the storage area, and then that, in the back of my mind, anyone that's ever watched the show, you'll catch the reference. It's fucking Warehouse 13. It's
Makes
Warehouse.
sense.
It's Warehouse the Tower. You know, freaking. You know, that's our purpose as Guardians, to freaking find artifacts, bag it, tag it. You know, it's
Very
like
true.
Jesus Christ.
That's very true.
Heading over to the SCP Foundation. Come on over.
Man, hey. But yeah, no, I don't really care about Super Black all that much. I don't know if y'all care about
You
Super
know
Black.
you want that
ain't
Super
me.
Black. Don't lie to
That
me
ain't
like that. You want
I
that
ain't
Super
about
Black
it.
too.
I ain't about it. Granted, will some weapons become Super Black? Yes, because like I've been saying for a while that like of all like the Halloween memento should have been orange. I've been saying that for a while. So more weapons will become black. But my armor will stay Amethyst Veil. I will die on that hill. I like my pink accents. But how are y'all feeling about Super Black?
Oh, I freaking absolutely love it. It's going to be interesting how it's going to work on some of the weapons. Because, like, for instance, right now, Supremacy is a good one. When it comes to shaders and, like,
that's true.
Even mementos, it has a very weird interaction. Like, it only does very small portions of the weapon. So some weapons have very small interactions with shaders. So it's going to be interesting how that one and others are in particular. But overall, I think this is Bungie once again finally listening to feedback of the community, that a portion of it that have always wanted like an all black shader, and this just really freaking hits. Damn, what do you think?
My statement until later.
Yeah, Diva has a whole plan for that. All right, then Dan, how you feel about Super Black being back?
I mean, it's cool. It's a nice nostalgia punch from back in the day. I think I don't know. I heard the collective O from a lot of PvP players out there in the world when that thing popped up. And so
I've got a take on that.
That's a very interesting thought. I didn't think about that. Yeah, I can see why they would be mad.
Yeah.
Why? What's the beef with the shader from the PvP fans?
I have no idea. Look, I don't know. It's just most PvP players that I've seen just wear like super dark shader.
Yeah.
Well, Diva, what you got? Hit me, because I thought PvP people would be happy about the all black shader.
You know how hard it is.
So when it comes to the shader, and I have a little bit of familiarness with it. So back in the day when that shader was originally around, I think it was like D1.
Yeah, it was D1.
D1.
That's why they're like, oh my god, it's back.
If there was like a really dark corner or in the inside of a building that happened to be a little bit dark, you could hide really freaking well.
Yeah.
Now, there's also another game that did this shit really freaking bad, I'm gonna say, and that was Warzone. Okay, Call of Duty Warzone. There was a character skin that no matter what they did, it took several iterations before they finally had to nerf the shit out of it because of the lighting issue. You could hide like in plain sight. You would blend in with walls and everything. Now this is where it boils down to the aesthetic of the map and the lighting. Those are the
Like
two things.
this weekend where you couldn't hide from shit.
Exactly. There will be
Exactly.
times where Super Black will be prominent or will be able to get you, like, if you're not really paying attention. But if the freaking map is super vibrant, it doesn't matter. You could be unless you're wearing something that matches the aesthetic of that map, you're gonna get seen. I
Yeah.
don't think it's gonna be as prominent or as much of a problem as we
I
saw
don't think
previously.
it's
I don't know. Super Black, there's a lot of Crucible maps that I can think of that are really not necessarily dark, but just dark enough to where your twitch reflexes aren't going to necessarily pick up on, is that a shadow or is that a guardian? Is
But I
that
think-
shading or is that a guardian shotgun?
But that's also a thing. It's a magic trick that only works once on you, like in one spot. And if somebody is sitting there trying, like, just hiding in the same corner the entire time, and they got you the one time and they go back to it, you're going to know
Call
to
of
search that
Duty-
corner. Like, and you're
if-
probably going to be a little bit more like
If Call of Duty has
Aware
taught
of your
me
surroundings.
anything, camping is a highly effective strategy. Highly effective.
I will say there, like, ironically enough, as we're on this show, there are a couple Cosmodrome maps like Exodus Blue that are going to be a pain in the ass. So like especially that underbelly, like right between A and C, or A and B rather, that's gonna be a pain in the butt. So like I will admit some things are gonna be issue, but like I agree with Dan. Like there's only so many times from a PvP perspective where that's gonna get you. Like in
Now,
6v6, are you gonna get some chain
imagine.
kills? Yeah, but in 3v3, that's only gonna work a handful of times before someone walks around that corner with a grenade and just throws it at your face. Like,
But just imagine how many Guardians are going to be running around like this.
Oh,
You'll
yeah.
be fighting a team of shadows. Oh my god. It's gonna be horrible. The PTSD is about to get real. Like, is
okay.
that did that shadow just move? Like, was that a guardian or was it just something clipping through the wall?
just turn your
Shotgun.
HDR off. It'll be fine.
Exactly.
Look, I'm gonna say this now, and I don't want to hear nothing about it later. I like Bungie. If I hear anything about the Stompies because of this, you brought this on yourself.
Wait, why
You
would
brought this on yourself.
Stompies be a problem with it?
Yeah, but
Imagine a shadow running down in front of you and then jumping over your head, shotgun. You're
bro,
gonna be
bro,
so
imagine
livid.
that one really dark Vex map where like people are just hiding up in the crevices between A and C, and you just get bopped. That's gonna be wild. Oh man, I can picture it
Hey,
now.
look, that bullet magnetism gonna have to get a little bit stronger.
Hey man, I tell you what. But so that's gonna be the excitement there. Now let's talk about some weapons because I want to get two specific ones. Ironically enough, they're at the top of the article, out of the way. Bungie has decided with the 12 weapons that are on the docket for the reprised Brave Arsenal, that Bungie has said, "Hey yo, we're bringing up Forbearance and we're bringing up Succession."
Mm-hmm.
This is an interesting situation because this is the first time, minus technically the wish tokens, that raid weapons have been available outside of a raid. And Chris Proctor even talked about it on the Massive Breakdowns podcast and on the stream as well. Their thought process of like, hey, this gives casual players or people who don't own that content a reason to dip their toe in and whatnot and to go get those other weapons. But herein lies the problem with specifically Forbearance. Out of all of them, Forbearance. Forbearance in VoW is technically still better for higher level players because of Soul Drinker. So you have casual players who aren't going to be that upset about this because like, hey, I have a Forbearance now. I couldn't find a group to do VoW. I have a Forbearance, yay. But also, this Forbearance has the Demolitionist as a perk on the third column versus the VoW one that has Soul Drinker, which is good for high level content. So you have to make that choice there. But also, other than I think Cataclysmic, which is the linear fusion rifle from Val,
Hmm.
no one really has a reason to go into Val. Like, unless you're a nutcase like me who enjoys aggressive frame pulse rifles, there really isn't a whole lot of reason to go into Val just because, hey, I got a little taste of Val from the Brave
I'm-
Arsenal. I'm going to go in there.
I'm going to stop you there.
Okay.
Lubray's Ruin is the best glaive in the game. It is.
Really?
Yes. It is nearly exotic in how good it is.
I've never
because of the
God
soul
damn
drink.
it, Dan! I can't believe I'm actually
Wait.
going to use that freaking phrase here for somebody else. Look, I've been having every fucking reason not to go farm that goddamn red border because it's still on the freaking low end of the totem pole. But if you're telling me that I've been missing out, it's like
It's got soul drinker on it. It's got
Judgment
soul
of-
drinker on it. As you're shanking stuff and you reload, you're healing.
Oh, it works
So,
with
like-
the melee?
I believe so.
fuck!
Oh no, I didn't know that.
Okay,
Finishing
we're
a
on that.
reload restores health. So
Okay,
you
we're
do have
adding
to
that
you
to
do
the
have to
fucking
release
list.
some of the magazine. But
Okay.
as far
okay.
as I know, it also works off of the melee. I personally, I'm a glaive guy. I enjoy glaives.
Okay.
But the healing the pure healing ability of that is bonkers.
I don't know, man. Like Judgment of Kelgaroth is still a bad bitch. I've been saying that for a long
Okay.
time. That Judgment of Kelgaroth with a pair of like synthos or a feedback fence on close to melee and like overflow, you're just chopping away and having a
Yeah.
good time. So
In the
I'll
in the
mess around
adaptive
with it.
glaives though,
Mhm.
like Lubray's Ruin is really, really good. Even
I might have to
even
go
in its
crack.
base state.
Okay. But like, but okay. So there's some reason to go into Val, but I'm still, to my knowledge, other than the new Desperate Measures perk and firing line, I think there's no reason why anybody would want this new succession. Like,
So-
unless
well,
you just don't own Beyond Light,
the-
despite it
so I
constantly
was
being
just-
on sale.
I was just comparing them. So the only difference between Forbearance, Val versus this
It's demo.
is demo. Succession, the only difference is redirection.
Oh, we're missing redirection. Oh, okay.
So redirection is on the Into Light version, whereas it's not on the raid version.
Okay, that's
So-
interesting.
So at best, you're looking at one perk difference. Now,
Yeah.
I've talked to some people about this, and this is my stance on this. When it comes to the perk, the origin trait, Gray Heritage, weapon hits grants grenade, melee, and class ability energy. That's on the original Succession. So
Right.
to me, looking at the freaking origin trait for the Into the Light, which it gives you grenade energy on weapon final blows for your light subclass and melee energy for your dark subclass. Bray's Bray Inheritance is by far better because it's just on weapon hits, not on final blows.
That's what I thought. Yeah. So like, I just
So
I find myself wondering.
So at the end of the day, yes, these are slightly less superior weapons. They're still good. Don't get me wrong. They're still good. They still hit the form and function, but the OGs beat them in two categories. One, better origin trait, and then two, red border craftable.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
like, if Bungie,
but they are going to
decides
be enhanceable in Final Shape, though. So that's
right.
the thing.
Well, then that's what I was gonna say. Yes, you can enhance it. However, with the red borders, let's say Bungie makes a tweak to a perk. With the red border craftables, we can go and change that perk to something whatever fits the new
That's
meta
true.
or something that is better for that weapon given the
Mhm.
circumstance. Whereas the Into Light version, you don't have that option
Right.
unless you happen to farm that combo and it's
Yeah.
sitting in your vault.
Right.
I think
so. Yeah, go ahead.
for people who have been playing Destiny consistently, I would say probably for all four panelists here on the on this
Yeah.
podcast,
Mhm.
these two weapons are probably not weapons that we're going to go for. And like, I
No.
tend to agree with like the Chris Proctor estimation of it is like, hey, we're adding these two weapons that seem to be like pretty prevalent in PvE and PvP activities, and getting them like almost democratizing them in a way of like
Yeah.
getting them out into the hands of the people who maybe need a reason to come back, and maybe they didn't have the full squad to get into it.
Mhm.
Or like maybe they don't check out Twitch and like go to twitch.tv/Danfinity on Sundays and do raids. You know, maybe they don't do that. And so like this is a good way of getting them some of that loot, not all of it, but like
Just
a
a
couple of
taste it.
morsels. Yeah, a couple of morsels to be like, hey, I could be going into raids and getting this stuff.
Mhm.
Or just like, I got my roll, I'm out.
Right.
And that's completely fine too.
Now,
Yeah.
I will say, to the argument of, these are raid weapons, why are we allowing these out into the wild like this? If this was like, say, a reissuing on the grounds of like Last Wish, or if this was like a raid or a reprised raid that had been out for less than 6 months, I would care more and be like, why are you diminishing the content? But at the same time, and Proctor and the guys over at Massive Breakdowns even said, Beyond Light's coming up on 3 years,
Yeah.
and Val's coming up on 2.
Mm-hmm.
I'm good. Like, even though we recently just reprised Deep Stone's weapons, I have all my red borders. If you want a lesser succession, by all means, brother, go get you one. Same thing with forbearance. I worked my butt off in the first week and got my forbearance. It has the highest PvE kill count of any weapon I have. Like, I'm good. But at the same time, I'm less mad about them putting raid weapons in this 12-point selection versus the list of weapons they put out saying, hey, these were the weapons that were cut. And I gotta pull it up real quick.
Oh,
But
dear.
like, I'm more upset from that. Like, because it's like, hey, there are other weapons that could have been here, and you chose to be like, nah, we're not gonna worry about these. Even though those ones are actually like granted, forbearance by all intents and purposes is a fan favorite. I'm not going to debate that.
It's also one that's already in the game too.
True.
Like when you have to think, I was in the call when they announced that they were
Like,
going to
guys,
be when
forbearance in Succession. I really like kinda. I can hear this argument for hung jury, but
we'll get to that. I got a bone
Yeah.
to pick with that thing.
Oh,
That's
God.
one
I
of my,
can hear
that's
that
one of
with
my favorite
Jury.
D1 weapons. I'm gonna let Dan finish before I go off on that.
But I was in the call when they were like, "Hey, so yeah, Final Shape's going to be pushed back to June." Like I was in that call when they announced that, and when they announced the Riven's Wishes, and they said we're working on something called Into the Light. Now we're excited about that, but we'll get details about that later. And so it seemed like that wasn't something that was completely finished by the time that they were calling.
Right.
And so I don't know what the time frame was of them putting it all together, but it doesn't seem like it was that much time. And it also like, so using models that are already in the game currently, you're looking at forbearance, you're looking at succession, you have like you'll have recluse and you'll have mountaintop and you have Luna's Howl from the vendor from the statue in the tower. You have
Right.
those things still there. Hung Jury, also a model that's in the game. So they're using an asset that they still have and renovating it in a way while also bringing in some other stuff that we just haven't had in a while, which
Right,
I'm more excited about.
And Proctor even talked about on the show, like it costs money to pull this stuff up from the past. Like, granted, having the art model makes it cheaper, but it costs money to have to pull things up from the past.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the list of weapons that were considered and cut Chroma Rush. Who wants that? Who wants Chroma Rush? I would want a reprised the pulse rifle, because the pulse rifle needed better perks from
Grid
jump.
Skipper?
Or matter of fact, give us Ignition Code. Ignition Code is a
That's
fan
fun.
favorite grenade launcher that would like, it became infamous because of Sweatsickle and his journey to get a new one and all that jazz. Like, that would have been a thing to bring back. First in, last out. Does anybody, in Dust Rock Blue specifically, does anybody notice that there's not a single shotgun on this 12 gun list? And yet there's multiple grenade launchers? I'm a little bit miffed. As a shotgun lover, that, like, specifically when you bring up First and Last Out and Dust Rock Blues, why didn't we, I think specifically for First and Last Out is still in the game as a Dares of Eternity pool, I believe. I could be wrong. So it's like, that's easy to access.
I think
21% delirium, and they said there's something about they're gonna make it a gambit weapon later. So I'm not mad at that. Fatebringer, I still take people to get time loss ones every other week, so that's fine. I'm not worried about that. But sooner or later, I know they're gonna make Vogue have enhanced weapons, so we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Dire Promise. That's a dangerous one right there. But Proctor said they can only put so many hand cannons, so I think they made the right choice with that one. Wastelander, again, another shotgun. Where are the shotguns? Antiope, he said specifically they're gonna come back as another playlist weapon later on. Trophy Hunter, another good choice that got skipped. And Aaron Tail. I would defy anybody that to say that Aaron Tail wouldn't have been a better pick than at least Succession. Like, Succession itself is so is so versus Aaron Tail that was like meta defining for a time.
I would have definitely said, Aaron Tail. All the other weapons, to be honest, was like, nah. They did
Any
good.
of those weapons should have been remotely that cut.
At the very least, Dust Rock, I'd have been so happy. I'd have been like, yo, Dust Rock?
I can see that.
Or reprise Mindbender's Ambition and give it better perks than when you reprised it the first time. Give me a better Mindbenders. How about that?
I can agree with that. Give a better Mindbenders.
Like, Mindbenders got robbed when it came back, and I was still irritated by that. But but then there's the hung jury argument.
Yeah.
Hung jury, now, when it first came back, everybody, mama was like excited. I was excited. Like, hung jury was my shit in D1. We love hung jury. But at the same time, hung jury has, like, they even joked about it on the other show, that it's been back more times than Kelgaroth and Tanix. Like, we've seen that thing too many times, and it has an adept version. Well, multiple adept versions, because I own all 4 of them. Why are we choosing hung jury beyond it was
I
easy? That doesn't sit like
that wasted a spot.
Like there's explosive payload kinetic tremors.
It did waste a spot.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be honest. When they were talking about we brought back a meme favorite, and I heard hung jury, and I was like, yeah, that fits. Why would you bring that meme back? It's like, and I didn't realize that was Edge Transit that they were referring to. And I'm like, it's like, Bungie, why? Come on.
So what are you guys excited about on this list?
I got plenty for you. I'm excited for multiple things. And I'll even go off the list. Let me pull it back up. I'll tell you straight up. Fallen Guillotine? I said last week that I even said last week that if they give me Eager Edge and Vorpal Weapon, I will delete my Halo Sword on stream when I get my roll. I have said from jump, the only reason why I keep this thing is because it's Void, because I'm a Void Titan, and B because it has Eager Edge. The minute they give me my freaking Razor Blade on a stick back and it has Eager Edge and Vorpal, that thing's hitting the bricks. I don't care if it has an enhanced. I don't care if it has a Trials Memento on it. It's gone. I don't care.
Guillotine has so many goddamn rolls. It's like, this is going to be one of those weapons you're going to do extensive testing, freaking Surrounded, Whirlwind Blade,
Vorpal Weapon and bait
rounds,
and switch.
Eager Edge, freaking bait and switch. It's like, Jesus Christ.
Like this thing is stacked. They brought this thing back with a vengeance. Obviously
I am
Recluse.
still like, why
Ooh.
would you bring back the slammer and then
And then
bring back
power
E?
creep it immediately.
Like,
Like you brought
Well,
a brand new weapon
don't get
out
me
and then
wrong.
think
power
about
crept
this
it
list.
immediately.
Don't get me wrong, Slammer. I've been okay. If you ever check out Haterades vids like shorts and whatnot, he's been doing some freaking Lost Sector quick runs using Slammer. That shit's freaking nutty.
Oh yeah, that cold steel is dangerous. That thing is disgusting.
I'm just like, what was the point here? Like, you can still get falling guillotine in game.
But it's not that good.
Granted,
It's not that good.
No.
And plus, the Whirlwind Blade, like not Whirlwind, like Vortex frames still like take up the most ammo of any sword in the game. So hopefully they address that. That would be really nice if the heavy attack didn't take so much ammo. But we will see.
I'm gonna say this. It's either they need to address the ammo economy on that heavy attack, or they address the damage for using that much ammo. One of those two needs to be adjusted.
I agree. Obviously Recluse, obviously Mountaintop. Those are gonna be bangers. Hammerhead.
Okay, so first and foremost, I'm gonna say this to any D2 player, whether veteran, whether freaking new light or returning player. If you need a Void SMG, regardless if it's PvE, PvP, high end, low end content, whatever, this is the fucking weapon to farm. Okay, Recluse will replace any and all Void SMG right
I don't know,
right
man.
now.
I'm afraid that Recluse
Forgiven
is
from
going...
Duality has Demo Frenzy. I don't know, man. Like that's
out.
still a bad bitch. Unforgiven is still a contender.
All right, so first and foremost,
Recluse
we got Feeding Frenzy right off the rip.
That game.
Feeding Frenzy is by far going to be one of the best third column perks. Then on top of that, followed behind Subsistence. Okay, not too bad. Now, if you're doing an all void build, Repulsor Brace, a little bit of freaking protection there. Okay, so those are going to be your top three, right? Then let's look at fourth column. Right off the rip, Master of Arms. Now, supposedly, this only going to be a 15% damage increase versus what it was before.
Which, and this goes for the rest of the conversation when it comes to Recluse, Mountaintop, and Luna's House specifically. If you think for a damn minute that Bungie was going to bring these things back in their original condition, you were smoking some real good copium, fam. Because, like, I remember on day one, Drewski was throwing a fit about Luna's House. I'm like, y'all were living real good on that copium if you thought Bungie was going to let y'all have that stuff back in the original situation. That one-shotting Guardians with Mountaintop and PvP was never going to happen again. I'm sorry.
My grievance is that they're coming back ultra powerful. My grievance is that they're coming back and they're breaking certain standards, if you will.
I hate that.
That we had.
I don't think they're breaking certain standards. I think that they're
coming in. They're bringing some of these finally addressing what they should have addressed.
Okay, I'm gonna say what needs to be said. They're addressing these weapons the way that they should have been addressed originally.
Instead of sunsetting everything, if you know what I mean.
We all understand here that the reason why they sunset some weapons and some content was because of development time frame and that they could not address everything with the engine upgrade. I think we can all agree with that there. But the other issue was that, yes, there was a major power creep that was happening at the time where they were like, okay, this is a time to put these weapons to bed. Even Bungie has come back and realized, we were wrong to sunset weapons. We were wrong to do that. And this is finally addressing the elephant that's been in the room since freaking that whole debacle. Was we should have addressed these weapons right then, right there. And this is them doing it.
Nah, it's too late for that. I'm gonna be honest with you. If these weapons don't drop somewhat hot, people are gonna feel slighted. I'll be honest.
I think Recluse.
If they do,
I think Recluse. From what we like right now, you can pull Recluse. You can go run around in 1600 content.
Yeah.
Even some of the dungeons, and it's
in PvP.
Especially in comp, because they had to fucking go back in and re-nerf Revoker because of the fact that they didn't just say, hey, anything that sunset can't come in, which I don't know why they didn't do that in the first place. But like, you can still do that in Iron Banner next week. I'll defy anybody not to roll them with Recluse or Mountaintop, because it's gonna happen. You're gonna see it because they won't put light level back on PvP, which is that's a whole other debacle. But yeah, no, like you can still go get that. So
yeah. So back to what I was saying. Fourth column, Master of Arms, target lock, destabilizing rounds, and surrounded, and then the new perk, Desperate Measures. 5 fucking perks that you've got PvP perks, you got PvE perks, you got low end, and you've got high end content perks right there, all in that fourth column, fifth column. Oh my God, could you imagine if there were 5 columns?
That's where the origin trait goes. It's fine. It's fine.
Oh my God.
Recluse Recluse is going to be clutch in a lot of content, and for anyone looking for a good Void SMG, this is going to replace anything you've got.
Except
This is going to be the new Funnel Web, but it's going to be.
I mean, the Funnel Web was a knockoff Recluse from Jump.
About something like Blast Furnace with Rampage Headseeker. That thing's going to ruin the Crucible.
Nah, man, no.
It's a 4-burst too. It's a 4-burst.
It's an aggressive. Zen Moment Headseeker is where actually, Headseeker's in third column. So you're gonna see Headseeker Kill Clip. Headseeker Kill Clip is gonna ruin days, bro. Or just rapid hit Headseeker is gonna be a monster.
I can't wait for it to come back.
He wants to chime in on this one.
I don't know. I'm excited for nostalgia purposes. I'm excited for Hammerhead and Blast Furnace and Midnight Goo to come in. Blast Furnace is a fantastic weapon.
Yes.
I just think you made the comparison of this to like the 30th anniversary. I think that's what they're trying to do for the 2-month lead up into Final Shape. Is they're trying. It's a weird nostalgia play that has nothing to do with that DLC that we're comparing it to, but it does a good job of bringing the feeling of that time in Destiny 2. I don't know if Crucible is messed up, regardless of your feelings on it currently, for 2 months before we hop into Final Shape.
I don't think anyone's gonna complain at that point.
In the span of 10 years that this game has been active, it is a blip on the radar, and it's a minor inconvenience and a speed bump on the road.
Herein lies my fear, if you will.
Okay.
Like, we spent 4 years undoing the problem that was Mountaintop Recluse and Revoker. Perks that were so good, if you weren't running them, you were throwing. Right? And now you're reintroducing weapons that break the mode of what weapons are. Very seldomly do you get like double damage perks on weapons. Like I can't think of a weapon that had double damage perks on it. And now we have that. So in order to make weapons to compete with that, now they're going to have to start putting double damage perks on other weapons and wait until double damage perks start getting craftable. Now
or enhanceable in a few weeks.
Okay.
Or like a month,
now
rather.
you fan the flames, and where do we go from there? Like,
so in that case, I'm going to say it, and I think everyone's already thought about this, and so I'm just going to put the thought into verbal. It's the fact that Bungie's eventually going to have to nerf damage perks to the point where it's a matter of, do you want damage or functionality increase? And honestly, that's something I think Bungie should have addressed a long time ago.
It's probably something that they're going to actually...
I don't need functionality when my target's not alive. That's how I look at it.
It would probably be something that they're looking to address with Final Shape. And so,
go ahead,
like, I think that, like, this seems to be something where they're like, come back. We want to see you back. We want to hang out. We want to have a little bit of fun before the Final Shape, before who knows what
They
happens
even
over
said
the
they're
next year.
nerfing chain reactions, so for regardless of which forbearance you have,
Yeah.
it ain't gonna be that hot.
I think we're going to see more tuning ahead. It's just not for the next 2 months.
That's the
Like,
other
I
fear.
don't know.
That's the other grievance I have with
All right.
the game as a in totality where we are.
Mm.
Like, but that's a conversation we can have later. But
Okay.
as far as weapons going right now, it's a conversation of, are we really ready for this sandbox to be double damage perks on certain weapons,
yeah,
and
I'm ready.
then the
I'm
meta
excited.
rolling into this? It's
If
gonna
it's for
devolve
if
into
it's
madness.
like Dan said, if it's for a blip on the radar, fuck it.
It's also free for everybody. So
Right.
like that
It's
is
free. That's the other thing. People aren't
The
understanding. This is a free
crafting has
update.
taught us this is not where we want to go. Like, do we have
I
to
don't
do
know.
this again? I'm so
I-
sad.
I
I'm
don't
like,
know.
we
Look,
broke
just
the
think of it-
game.
just think
I
of
don't
it
want
like
another
this. Just think-
70% of content I
just-
paid for to be taken away because
Just think of it
because
like
it's something
this.
you didn't pay for.
because it's something that they made. They're like, well, we
God
gave it to you
damn.
for free. For free, like
Damn.
you don't
damn.
need the
Dan,
Witch
Dan just hit
Queen
it on the head
beyond
that
like
time. Damn.
Like, what do you like? That's old content. We're done with that whole saga.
Okay.
We can throw that in the trash. We're gonna give you new stories. We're gonna give you new weapons, and they won't have double damage perks, so the PvP side can't complain. No
I
more
don't know,
Super
man.
Black.
There's a good chance these playing card guns that are coming out for the Cade fans, like they might fucking power creep the game as it is. We know we're getting 2 new rocket sidearms soon. That's gonna power creep stuff because we're gonna have a rocket sidearm potentially with incandescent. Like things are gonna pop off.
I want this power. I don't think you guys understand. I want this power, but I know the consequences of this power. I've seen it. I've lived it. I'm like, look.
Okay, I think I can speak respectfully for every single Destiny 2 player out there when I say this. Fuck the consequences.
This is the
Hey,
one
yeah,
time
until
where
your
fuck the
money's
consequences.
gone.
This is the one time where I get my blast furnace back. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like you don't understand.
There is a
Madness.
thing. If this were a competitive shooter, it would be different.
That's
But-
the exact point. If it was a
Yeah.
competitive shooter, that would be different. But it's not. I love
You
that.
say that, but then look at this community. We just had an entire 2 seasons where people were like, Bungie, the game's too easy, Bungie. Make it hard again. And then they were like, okay, we're going to nerf Devour. We're going to nerf
Yeah.
Resto. We're going to take away all those really cool, like,
They should hit him
damage
again.
perks that was
And they
hitting
should hit him
hard.
again.
Yeah.
We
just
take
gave us
away
cure
all
times
your
two.
fun.
Let's make cure times
I'm
2
actually
be
in
legal.
agreement. I'm actually in agreement because I think we
And
all know
now-
that, with that call, we already know what's coming in final shape. Rest in peace, well locks. I'm just saying.
Why
Now here's my
do
caveat to
this?
that. Here's my caveat. This time when we buff it, when we make content harder, I don't want another Witch Queen / Season of Defiance situation where where all we did for Season of the Lost and the Splicer was Bungie, we want harder content, and then when Bungie gives it to us, we go. No, actually,
Everybody
it wasn't
circumvented.
Witch Queen. It was Lightfall. I don't want another Lightfall in Season of Defiance situation where the minute Bungie ups the difficulty, everybody and their Mama Paul Tassi was like, it's too hard. Like, I want the game to turn up. There was a point when Season of Defiance came out where I was in a playlist activity and we wiped and had to reset because stuff was too hard. I loved that. I love that kind of situation where a playlist activity can challenge you. And yet, the minute Bungie gave it to us, everybody complained. Everybody and their mama complained about it.
That seems to be like what they're going to be doing with Onslaught, though, right? It's like
It's
a
the
ramping.
pendulum.
If you're looking for that, challenge in the game, you have a few avenues that you can go and get it. But if you really want to be smacked in the mouth, as former co-host Aura used to say, if you really want to get smacked in the mouth, I think like it's going to be your tier 50s. Like that's going to be where you're going to be finding that challenge. I know back in the day, like during Season of the Forge, that was probably that was probably the worst of their of the scaling and how that worked, because you had to be a light level that you couldn't attain in the first week in order to even interact with that season. And people complained for days, and I feel like Bungie learned from that to like allow different avenues. I think with every iteration they're learning something. Now some of those are going to be lessons that devs are going to be able to take in and act on, and some of those are going to be, you know, C-suite stuff, and those are the ones that are probably the less fun.
That's a very fair assessment. That's a very fair assessment. So let's go back to the rest of these roles real quick. Now, the meme itself, Edge Transit. This is a really funny situation where all the high-end content like high-end PvE content creators finally said, "Hey, yo, we're gonna go play Trials because Cataphractii is the hottest shit on the block for day one raid." And then Bungie said, "Hey, nah, before y'all even get in there, we're going to pull a Taipan where we're not going to have another situation where a Trials weapon is the thing to get for day one raid, i.e. the Stasis Linear again. We're going to make it so everybody has the Taipan equivalent from Jump, i.e. Edge Transit." And I find that to be hilarious. Like, funnily enough, the last time Cataphractii was the adept weapon, I got an envious bait and switch on accident. So I've been sitting on it for a minute laughing at all the people like Aegis having to go up in there and get the basic one. But at the same time, I find it real funny that Bungie was just like, "Hey, yo, here's the Taipan equivalent before we even get to Final Shape. Here's the thing to take into the raid because it will be your best tool, i.e. Envious Bait and Switch or Explosive Light, whatever you want to go kill the Witness. Here's your equivalent off rip." And that is so funny, like entirely when it comes to that. And the fact that Edge Transit has multiple things like chain reaction, cascade point, auto loading, and envious assassin, that is gonna be hot. And we got bait and switch, destabilizing rounds, full core and explosive light, all great perks that go in that column. I'm like, you got casual PvE in mind with explosive light and high-end PvE in mind with bait and switch, and that's such a great thing that Bungie considered that. I think that's but it's still real funny that Taipan equivalent is already here before we even get to the expansion.
And I'll be honest, as someone who mostly does PvE, still barely does any PvP, I'm all here for it. I'm freaking ecstatic, especially some of these freaking roles. It's like, okay, cool. Now, but sadly, it like kind of decentivizes chasing after that Cataphractii, unless you want like a strand version of that.
Yeah.
That type of role, which I'm the type of player that likes to try to synergize all of my weapons as much as possible. I understand, like in some case scenarios when you've got to like do quote unquote meta runs or something, yeah, you've got to mix up your weapon types. But in this case, to have that void version and then have that strand version is freaking, like, to me, one of those things I try to do for. But outside of that, I'm just loving that GLs are starting to come back. Bungie, I'm just saying, buff them just a little bit more.
You ain't been in a raid.
You ain't been in a raid in a minute. Go take a GL into a raid, and you already see we here. Like, I'm Ice Cube and Triple X3 right now. Like, I'm pulling up on everybody. Like, y'all don't understand. The era of GLs is back. I haven't tried Anarchy yet in the new sandbox, but man, we are back.
I sent you a video on TikTok. Buffest Hunter over there, he's been testing out Prospector.
Oh yeah, Prospector's hot.
Prospector's
Prospector's
very
hot.
strong.
Hell, I saw a video right before the podcast. Apparently, if you have 3 hunters with Radiant Dance machines, you can one bell Kaido with Parasite.
Fun. What? Good for them.
You can one bell Kaido with Radiant Dance machines and Parasite.
Oh dear
so when that
God.
rotates back in, I'm about to go get me my my stasis geo finally, cause I've been waiting for a hot minute. I'm gonna slap
Oh,
off
man, I got
my dancing pants and go have some fun. So,
Keelan's wanting me to tell you about my Rolk and Nezarec strats. And that
what's your
is,
rogue strat? I'm
Oh,
curious.
you could just straight up two-phase with swords.
Oh yeah, no, I know that for a while, but no one ever
Yeah.
wants to try it because everyone
Heart-
panics about the darkness shit.
Yeah, no, you don't need to. Not when you're that close.
Exactly.
Like with Heart Shadow and like Laments or just whatever people want to bring. Just
Hell,
Oh,
I was
dear
the
God.
first person to drop a bubble on Crota when Crota came back.
Yeah.
I rolled up with a bubble and lament and it destroyed him. Everyone's like, "No, use well." I'm like, "Nah, I've been waiting for a minute to do this. Like, it's gonna be a fun time."
waiting
Dude,
for
I'm
your
gonna tell
time,
you right
man.
now. I'm gonna tell you right now. And I told Jay about this. I did an all void run, and at the very end when we got to Crota, we realized, oh shit, we've got no well. How are we gonna do this? We had
Bubbles.
3 Titans.
Yeah.
Ward of Dawn. Oh my God, it's busted.
done and dusted.
One of my favorite memories from being like, because I've been a Bubble Titan since D1. One of my favorite memories was when Vogue came back, and that was when I forget it was the mod that made like all the solar and dragonfly and like Vorpal weapon stuff do crazy stuff. Because that was when not Throne Cleaver, but the other Titan version of that sword, like the giant like heavy berserker sword, dropping bubbles on Atheon. And just freaking slamming that sword down for an all void Titan run was the funniest thing, because that mod made things go ham, and it was hilarious because you're just slamming this giant sword on Atheon and he can't do nothing to you because you got bubbles everywhere. And supplicants, what supplicants? We got Saint 14 helm on, y'all ain't got nothing to do. So it was real funny. That's how I got my my Fatebreaker seal, was because in Master Vogue, all you wear is Saint 14 helm, and them supplicants get real confused. So it's real funny. All right, so Hammerhead.
Hold on. Before we go
Okay.
on, I'm sorry. I got to talk about this. Mountaintop.
Oh, dear.
Mountaintop.
Build it.
So first off,
Absolutely
when
the only thing I want out of
last
this
week,
entire
I'm
list is it.
sorry. I want to have the big ass fucking banner right behind me that says "I called it."
He called it being.
I thought you were going to say
frame.
mission accomplished there for a little bit, and I was like, I don't know.
That was a miss.
No, because he called it being the micro missile being a frame on last week's podcast. He called
Okay,
it.
gotcha.
So when he was right, he was like vindication all the way. Like,
Yeah.
it was real funny.
So
Oh my God.
okay, now I'm gonna say this, and I've said this multiple times, both within my community, on my streams, and on on TikTok. Mountaintop, they gave us perks 3 and 4.
Mhm.
I feel that this was one of those they should have gave us perks 2 as well. Here's the
Oh.
reason why. Here's the reason why. So this is a breach loader. What's very common with breach loader GLs?
Spikes
Disorientates.
Well, spike grenade is going to be one of them,
and
but,
disorientation.
but disorientation. So if it rolls with both of those, if it has the possibility to roll with those, this is going to replace every single GL that you use with disorientating. Why? It's literally line of sight. It's shoot, point, click, shoot. So you will be able to blind your freaking targets with accuracy and with ease. So
that's my problem.
No, this isn't going to be just like a PvE thing. I'm going to call this.
PvP.
This is going to wreck PvP.
But you can't one shot with it though, so it's
You
gonna be a
don't
lot of
need to.
swapping.
You don't need
It's
to.
gonna be a lot of swapping.
You don't need to, because all you have to do is hit in the general vicinity of your targets.
And blinding nades that actually have a pretty large AoE. And now you just run in there and clean them up with any weapon, any number of energy-based like weapons, primaries, which is arguably like most people are
We're gonna be back to
running
that
energy
freaking
primaries
that
anyway.
bow hand cannon problem all over again, where you're just seeing pop pop like it's gonna be nonstop.
It's about to be a menace.
But not only that, just some of the perks that freaking roll with it. Ambitious Assassin, that's gonna be screwy. Freaking Demolitionist.
Auto loading and demo.
It's got
Overflow on a breech loader. The fuck?
there's only one true perk that you need. Auto loading.
No,
Once
but
you put auto loading
here's
on
the
it,
real.
Here's
you're
the thing.
done.
Overflow, you just step on a brick.
But
Game
how many
over.
bricks you got?
No, there's one perk that y'all are overlooking that I'm real concerned about, and it's mostly PVE related. Recombination in the fourth column.
That I saw that. I was like, oh
You put
shit.
recombination on Mountaintop? Are you out of your mind? Like, what is happening right now? Like, the audacity of this. Like,
I'm gonna be honest with you. This weapon is about to power creep so crazy. Just the amount of different stuff you can do with it. You got rocket jumps. That's a lot. That's gonna be a really cool tech to play around with. You got the fact that the kinetic slot, as far as like kinetic primaries go, there isn't very much competition. It's in competition with like what, Riptide? And
yeah,
maybe
pretty much
the
like
new
Riptide and maybe
Shatter
the
Signal.
Duality GL. That's it. Like because Duality GL has chill clip on it, and they even said after with Final Shape they're making it to where Riptide takes 3 bursts to freeze, but every other weapon and other framed fusion rifle will only take 2. So it's gonna be a situation here in a minute where the duality grenade launcher is still gonna be viable. And Proctor even said that all breach loader grenade launchers are getting a buff to match damage with Mountaintop. That's gonna be wild. They're like, hey yo, we don't want to power creep too hard. So
It's
like
power
Truth Teller,
crept
Harden Our
already.
Dust, the one Pinnacle GL that's still pretty hot. Like we're not power creeping too much. You got some
I'm
options.
about to drop it. Like, look, think about this. The amount of like, what is it? The like rocket swapping and the bait and switch swapping is about to go crazy.
I don't know, man. Wilder Flight's still gonna be hot. So I'm about to run 3
Wilder
Cowboy Dungeons
Flight's gonna
tomorrow.
go
Like Wilder
crazy.
Flight's gonna be still hot.
But Mountaintop, you don't have to compete with your energy primary of your sort because like weapons aren't the primary like engaging tool in combat anymore. Weapons are now kind of like vehicles for your ability builds, for your incandescent, your volt shot, your like unraveling rounds, volatile. You know, they just apply things. So having matching energy primaries is a thing. But having a kinetic like Izzy and now Mountaintop with spike
and the
nades on it.
The fact that Mountaintop can get recombination on top
Recombination,
of your synergy,
Vorpal weapon.
brother.
I think it's got Frenzy on it too.
Yeah, it's got Frenzy, which debatably Frenzy is even better than Vorpal in some stance. So like that's gonna be wild too.
That weapon is about to go crazy. Like the
I'm here
amount.
for it. I'm here for it. I want my baby back.
I love having it. Listen to me. I want to have it. I need it in my life. But I also need you to understand that this comes with consequences.
Diva, I don't mean to question you.
No.
I don't mean to question you right now.
Consequences of this
I'm sorry. I said it
absolutely
earlier.
madness.
Fuck the consequences.
You
because
say that
here's the reason
until
why.
70% of the game is gone.
I know I'm about to get side-eyed for this, but I want Mountaintop back. Why? I want to hit motherfuckers in the damn gambit. When you come invading, I want to snipe you out of the air with a fucking Mountaintop. I used to do it back then. I want to do it again.
Yeah.
Now here lies the problem, Diva. Here lies the problem, Diva. The problem is you sound like one of those like kids who were in the DARE program where you're telling us don't do drugs, but in reality you're doing drugs behind the school
because the consequences are just more fun.
Yeah, the consequences are more fun.
But you sound like a DARE kid right now.
I'm telling you right now that when this inevitably becomes a problem and everybody's bitching and griping that it's in the game, I
Just turn
want
off Twitter.
people
Just turn off
to
Twitter,
come
Dan.
here.
Turn off Twitter, turn off Reddit.
I wanted to come here, right to Diva, and listen to me when I say I am Negrodamus. I have told you the way. I called it before it ever happened.
I was Negrodamus 2 weeks ago. I was Negrodamus 2 weeks ago, where I
I'm
said
calling
Recluse was gonna be a problem, and I don't want to hear nobody bitch
I don't
about
wanna hear no
Peacekeeper Titans
complaints.
here in a minute, where I'm running around with Peacekeepers on with Recluse. I don't want to hear nobody bitch.
I can't handle it, bro. Listen to me. I can't deal with another wave of Bungie being like, so we made this decision and we wanted to make you happy and you were happy for a time. But now it's just an echo of
They're
screams
calling us
and
on the phone and be
silence.
like, hey, listen,
We fucked up.
Exactly. That's exactly what it's being. And I'm like, look.
We made your fun drugs too fun.
Exactly. And then in order, like, listen to me. Everybody's laughing right now because it's just mountaintop. But wait until there's a solar mountaintop.
No, because that's
A
true.
boy
Because
mountaintop.
Proctor even said on Massive Breakdown that they're giving it a year. They're giving it a year, and then we're gonna see more micro missile frame GLs. It's
Just
about to imagine a solar
until
micro missile with
that shit.
incandescent. That stuff's
Imagine
gonna
the
get
Vault Shot
real.
Mountaintop. Vault Shot Mountaintop.
Bolt shot,
with-
mountain shot. I can't even say it.
oh,
Bolt
dear
shot, mountain
God
shot.
in heaven.
My mind just melts at how
Hold on.
unfathomable
I probably
this
still
game
wouldn't
is
use
about
it.
to become.
Sorry.
Now here's the question: Can a Volt Shot mountaintop power creep forbearance? That's the debatable
100%.
question.
100% will put it in the dirt. Listen to me. I can shoot
Okay.
rockets from across the room.
I'm gonna throw out this freaking, power crate brain worm.
Oh,
Okay, because since we want to talk about Volt Shot, okay, imagine if you will, Volt Shot's in the third column, and beacon rounds on a freaking micro missile GL
Listen
is in
to
the
me.
fourth.
My
Oh,
mind
sweet
can't keep up.
Jesus!
Listen, listen.
Bungie, do
This
not listen to
sounds
that last
fun.
statement I just made, okay?
Listen
I'm
to
just
me.
saying.
Dan's like, oh no.
You see, like, look, we haven't even been on this topic for 5 minutes yet, and we've
We've been over
already
5
power
minutes. What are
crept
you
this
talking
game
about?
to
Okay.
unbridled hell. Imagine Bungie. You think Well was bad? Wait till you got to deal with Master of Arms on a fucking mountaintop frame.
Man, now okay, let's talk
Wait
about what
until-
we're really here to talk about. The power, the power in return that is Blast Furnace. Blast Furnace is coming back. They even said the
feel
best,
so bad.
like since we don't have scopes anymore, they're giving it the best one it had, and they're giving it
God.
the Rasputin scope, and they're making it intrinsic, and it's gonna have things like freaking Head Seeker and Kill Clip. Freaking Head Seeker, Rapid Hit, Head Seeker, Frenzy. Like, I'm about to be cooking with gas,
feel
homie.
so bad for the PvP side of this game. The
Nah,
PvP
dog, it's
strike
on.
team
I don't.
is most
I don't-
likely
on.
rolling around in their grave right now.
Nah, man.
Because
Like,
they're about to have to
this
deal
weekend was
with
already a
this.
preview with me running
Listen.
around with Revision 0, getting my trials
Just
done. Y'all
wait.
y'all ain't ready for me to get my
Just
Blast Furnace back. Y'all
wait.
you better count your days. It's over
Listen to
now.
me. You thought people were complaining about the crazy shit people were
Just turn off
doing
Twitter.
weeks ago? This has absolutely
that's the title
ruined
of the episode. Just turn off Twitter. Don't worry about it.
just look away. Don't worry about the screams, child. Don't worry. Just
Their
look
mother will
forward.
deal with them or not.
It's gonna be like
It's-
Thanos when he was like getting rid of the half the planet, and he was showing Gamora the knife.
Nah. You know
I
what
work-
this is?
So I work at a
Balance,
library.
young
I work at a library, and we have a volunteer who shushes patrons, and it's our job to be like, "Hey, you don't do that. Their parents will do that, and it'll be fine."
No. You know what this is? This joke's mostly for Cajun to me, but like, or Dan. I don't know if you watch Doctor Who. But like this is the reverse Eccleston. I'm gonna call it the reverse Eccleston, where for once everybody dies. Like it's on site. It's on site. Like this is the reverse Eccleston.
He is stunned. He is hurt. Take it back right now. Take it back. I need Cajun to come back to me.
I'm about to make that a meme after that episode.
Oh dear God!
But and then this is mostly for me because I'm a Void Titan. But Elsie's rifle is gonna have Zen Moment Head Seeker. Y'all better really count your days here in a minute where I could have a conditional finality and a Head Seeker pulse rifle. Y'all better count your days even more. Like it's gonna be on
saying,
like Donkey Kong.
Listen to me. I know we've been past Recluse already, but I'm telling you, Bungie, listen to me. Listen to me. Tune your ears real quick. If I hear even the slightest semblance of a Gerfalcon nerf, we're gonna fight about it. Look,
we see in the patch notes, like cut how many explosions Gerfalcon can cause with volatile, or volatile timer cut in half, like right there. It's
if I hear a Gerfalcon nerf or a volatility nerf,
how do you think I feel?
Words.
I like Void, like Ursa Titans used to be the only people who could make volatility, and now everybody's got it. Like, how do you think I feel? Like, this is some BS up in here. But now let's get to the hard like issue when it comes to this that kind of had the community up in a stir.
Well, hold on. We missed two weapons.
Yeah, Hammerhead. Bungie, where's my reconstruction?
Not just Hammerhead.
Bungie, where's my reconstruction? All I wanted was to delete my commemoration, and I can't do it now because you wouldn't give me reconstruction.
Yes, you can.
This is some BS.
Yes, you can.
Why?
Rewind rounds.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Rewind.
Better, baby.
I always sound like a 5-year-old when I'm trying to say that. Rewind.
Rewind.
Thank you.
Rewind.
Thank you. I'm not the only one. Okay, first and foremost, this has got to be the freaking nuttiest damn or heavy machine gun I've seen in a while. Considering the fact that freaking rewind rounds. But it's also got 4 times the charm in the same freaking column. But then the fourth column, it's got target lock, so boss DPS, onslaught. That's gonna freaking literally that's going to compete with freaking retrofit escapade. How freaking screwy is that?
Now, what's gonna be interesting is what does more damage, high impact reserves or target lock. That's gonna be real interesting right there.
Yep. So
because that used to be the role for Hammerhead was high impact reserve. So like, what's gonna happen in terms of what's the better call? And then Desperate Measures is gonna be interesting from a couple different angles because that's like the golden tricorn without an element. So that'll be real interesting to see. Because you got Killing Tally and Desperate Measures. So like, which one are we really rocking with here?
This weapon
is about. And then let's talk about the 2 hand cannons.
Bonkers.
Let's talk about the 2 hand cannons.
Okay.
So I'm gonna make a controversial statement right here. All right, hot take. Midnight Coup. Go ahead and delete your Fate Bringers. Delete your Fate Bringers.
I can't do it. I can't.
As soon as I get my roll, I'm deleting it.
That's the one thing I can't do. I don't care because like I worked hard for my freaking Fate Breaker catalyst.
My Fate Breaker is a depth,
my seal,
and I got a depth big ones.
I got that big ones. I don't need this.
Nowhere.
I got a dead big ones. I don't need this. And then when Bungie wants to fuck around and find out, and they make it so Vogue has enhanceable perks and craftable weapons. Nah, fam. Fatebringers, like we're gonna see a power creep situation where Midnight Coup's up for a second, and then it goes back down because I'll have an enhanced Fatebringer with adept big ones with explosive payload and frenzy. I don't need nothing else. It's fine. Like, Midnight Coup can stay in Callus's butthole for all I care. I don't care.
We'll make our way through. We'll make a way through it. It'll be fine. Don't worry about it.
All right. And then Luna's Howl. So,
sorry, Drewski, cry about it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm gonna tell you right now. When I saw this,
did you say not forgotten?
It's not forgotten because I think I might have forgotten about Luna's Howl.
I mean, they did say not forgotten's coming later, so like at some point we're getting not forgotten back.
I didn't forget about Luna's Howl because I've been on the receiving end of that son of a bitch for a freaking long ass time before I freaking took a hiatus.
The PTSD kicking in already for a lot of people. I can hear.
But I'm gonna say this. It's got a decent PvE role when you look at it like this. So first and foremost, heel clip.
A heel clip, like and
You
rapid
love my
hit,
heel clip.
or a heel clip Firefly.
Yep.
I love
Or
heel clip.
incandescent.
Oh, and also I was looking at Hammerhead. I mean, I apologize. So like,
Yeah.
so it would be freaking heel clip and incandescent. That's heel clip incandescent on a 140. That's gonna be dirty. Like I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
Look, it's
Now the
about to get
closest,
nasty.
the closest thing in the game right now for a solar hand cannon 140 is Zoli's Bane, and comparatively they're very close. But here's the kicker: originally this was a precision frame 180.
now it's a
And,
precision frame 140.
40 exactly. So it's gonna have the steadiness of the precision frame. This is gonna trump Zoli's Bane hands down.
No. It's kinetic. Kinetic weapons
No,
in this
Zoli's
game.
Bane is Zoli's
Zoli's
Bane.
Bane's a
Zola's
solar.
Bane is
Zol-
solar.
Yeah.
Zola's
Solar.
Bane is solar. But kinetic
Midnight Coup
weapons
is-
in this game.
Not Midnight Coup. Like Luna's Howl is solar too. They're both solar.
Yeah, I'm thinking he's talking about Midnight Coup. I'm sorry.
Okay.
No, you're right. Go ahead.
Dan, how you feel about Luna's Howl being back?
I'm fine with it. It's a gun in Destiny. I'll use it or I won't. And
It'll have its
fine.
place.
Fair enough.
It's gonna sit in the vault.
It's gonna go in the vault with the rest of the God rolls.
Vixen and I had a conversation for Destiny Digest one time, and Vixen said something along the lines of, in Destiny 2, it really doesn't matter what weapon you have in your hand as long as you use it. And something along those lines. And that I have found to be true. Do I have favorites? Do I have things that I enjoy? Yes. Do I chase every god roll that everybody puts out a spreadsheet about? No. Do I happen to have insane RNG and people think that I'm stealing it from them? Yes. So I just use whatever whatever's available. I just use whatever's available, what I enjoy using for an activity. A lot of people have been using like freaking Polaris Lance this season. I've been sticking to Tikus because I enjoy Tikus.
Hey, that's valid. That's valid.
So,
Here's a controversial decision, though. Here's a controversial statement. Hierarchy of needs is better than Tiku's.
Okay. Fine. Sure. Whatever floats your boat, guy.
I don't know about that one.
All right, but
it takes more setup, but okay.
That's
sure.
fair. That's fair. But like, here's my worry about Luna's Howl from a PvP perspective. They're giving it like a Hawkmoon equivalent, sort of, with these Howl bullets, where like precision hits load up extra like 150 per shot bullets in the chamber, but it can also get opening shot and precision instrument. So you're telling me that we get increased damage with precision instrument and 150 damage per shot bullets, and it can get enhanced down the road? That's gonna be a concerning level of danger. Like, I know Drewski was crying about, oh my god, Luna's Howl ain't the same no more. No, Luna's Howl's gonna be a problem. Like, that's a concerning situation right there.
But don't you need Magnificent Howl to get that though? And doesn't Magnificent Howl take the place of
Oh, that's right. You're right.
Precision
I'm losing it. Okay, but even then, you still have Eye of the Storm with Magnificent Howl. So that's gonna be a dangerous situation. Like Eye of the Storm and Light Action for improved accuracy. So my concern has gone down, but also Magnificent Howl is gonna be a situation of its own, right? So we'll see what happens there. And then what was the other gun, Cajun?
That was pretty much it. Yeah, now we can talk about the fiasco.
Let's talk about this. So here's what happened. So we had the live stream, and Bungie got us all hyped up. Then at the end of the article, Bungie had the audacity to say, from the release day, you get half the weapons. Then at each week after, all the way up to May 21st, every day at reset, another weapon unlocks. What?
Mm-hmm.
And then also the thing to keep in mind with all of this is there's special edition versions of the guns that have like gold tips and everything, and they have double perks
Yeah.
that also can be infused later on with the double, not infused, enhanced with the double perks. And those are only available until June 3rd. Why on earth, currently, we're talking about the situation itself. Why on earth would you say, hey, yo, potentially, Hammerhead can only get double perks for 2 weeks? That's a dangerous game you're playing, even if we're raining money out of our butts when it comes to these chests and whatnot. Why would you only give people 2 weeks to farm that? And like in general for certain things, like it feel like because Proctor said during the live stream that the ornaments and the double perks are like you had to be there versions of the gun.
Mhm.
So why would you put a time gate on this? And the critique that I've been getting from the community in my comment sections and whatnot is, well, this is the answer to the people who burn through a content in 1 week and then complain to Bungie that they don't have any content to play. First of all,
Ooh, don't start with me.
I don't
Don't
even
start with
think
me.
Salted Greppo himself could burn through all 12 of these in 1 week and get every god roll he wants. I'll be the
It
motherfucker to
depends
say
on your drops. It really depends on your
right.
drops.
Like you can have the
we
worst
make-
RNG
Come
on the face of
come
the
on.
earth.
We've all been at the hand of freaking RNGs when it comes to dice
Yeah.
rolls.
I don't think
freaking
you guys are accounting for how much this community will actually do that.
And
Like maybe not week 1, but definitely within
regardless,
2 to 3
if those
weeks.
Yeah.
people
be
are
done.
mad about a free content drop, I don't care
Absolutely.
if they are complaining. They can shut up. Like, genuinely, this is a free update where Bungie didn't tell us anything about the time getting to the last paragraph. That's the issue. They didn't tell
Yeah.
anybody about this. If they would have been honest during the live stream, like, hey, we're doing this, I'd have been like, feels bad, but whatever. But it's the fact that you tried to hide it at the last minute, like you're walking out the door, like, hey, we're not getting by. Like, nah, it feels real weird to me. And they even kind of like agreed with the community in their response with the tweet. We're like, oh, we hear your like your complaints and whatnot. We're gonna shorten the time frame to like the end of April, but it's still just like. Why
But
give
not
that
only-
argument any credence of, oh,
Well,
you burnt through the content and you're
go ahead,
bored?
Dan, go ahead, Dan.
I feel like that's not a dev decision. You know? Like
Yeah.
I
It
feel
makes
like that's more that is we need engagement for this amount of time. And if you're stretching weapons out for the 12 weeks of give them half. Give them half to start. Give them a taste. And then like
Give 'em a
after that, like we need the engagement up until final shape to get those numbers up, to also like give us time to get more pre-orders in, things along those lines. That seems like a business decision to me, not one of game.
Yeah,
dev.
that's definitely
100% a business
definitely
Fair enough.
that's definitely upper management decision right there.
But that is in it. That's kind of that's what really grinded my gears this week. I was like,
All right, Diva, speak on it.
this
Let's hear it.
entire thing reeks of we're hemorrhaging players, and like, sure, we'll give them these weapons, but ultimately, this content, sure, it's free, but is it really free?
Like this really was the case of
this-
emergency break glass update. If we're being honest,
this is what 100% to me. I look at it. I feel like it's a little predatory, in my opinion. Players have stepped away from the game for an exceedingly long time, and Bungie's like, look, we can't have them gone for that long, because if they leave for too long, they won't come back. And so, how do we get them to come back? Just give them all that stuff they've been complaining that they want. They want that blast furnace back. All right, we'll give them back their blast furnace, they recluse. And now, like, consequences be damned, because a lot of these people in upper management, I'm not saying that a lot of them are probably going to disappear over the next couple years and
Probably not.
slowly step out the back door. But it definitely feels like I just need this to work and operate and stay afloat for just a little bit longer for us to make some more money before we go. I just can't shake that feeling. it shows in this level of content.
I see that feeling. I really just think it's a marketing thing to get players back right before Final Shape.
No, it is
100%.
because they see how pre-orders got returned. They're probably like, oh my god, pre-orders got returned. We need to get these numbers back up.
So I'm
Also,
gonna say something though, real quick.
Go ahead.
If you
Go
haven't
for it.
listened to the episode with Torcal from Charlemagne on Destiny Digest, listen to that because
Okay.
Yeah.
there was a lot of clarification on what numbers are available and what numbers aren't available in the API that people were
Yeah.
going through and scraping. So
Yeah.
that is something I would highly recommend that episode with Tor. Tor's just a really solid guy and he was very open with his analytics.
When the Twitter account that made the post originally, when I looked at it, I was starting to read it and I was like, from an analytics standpoint, I was like, you don't have all the data, you're making assumptions and you're
Right.
making a very clickbait and negative post and article. Why are you doing this?
Right.
Oh, 'cause
And
negativity in
I'm
Destiny
gonna say
Because
feels
right.
like wildfire.
because Destiny Bulletin has done that time and time again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just gonna
Yeah,
call it
I'm
out.
gonna-
Destiny
yeah.
Bulletin.
I'm gonna straight up say,
Like KJ was
and-
skating around it, but like that's the motherfucker doing it. Is what it
Destiny
is.
Bulletin, Destiny the show, they do that all the time. For
Don't get
engagement.
me
I'm
started
gonna
on Destiny the show. Me and Destiny the show got beef over that MAGA
Anyways.
crap.
Wait.
But
Yeah, like it's just garbage reporting. It's not
Yeah.
journalism. It's garbage
I'll
reporting.
push like this. After they got freaking outed by Charlemagne saying, hey, you didn't do your due diligence on this and you clickbait, and they tried to double down, I was like, nah, bro, blocked. I don't want to see your bullshit on my feed anymore. I don't want to engage with you because that was fucking irresponsible as both from a journalistic standpoint as well as a content creator standpoint.
at the
You know,
same
I'm
time,
gonna say that I'm gonna say this. We are responsible for the information we put out.
Mhm.
Okay. And if we put out bad information in order to get engagement and it leads to problems inside the community, ultimately we are responsible for that.
And the thing about it is,
That's how I feel on that.
And the thing about it is, we've talked about in the podcast before about how Bungie has a information distribution problem, i.e., not enough people have access or the knowledge the twit exists. Not enough people know when updates are coming out. I will always harken back to the friggin' the flawless pool debacle, which was not everyone knew what the flawless pool was when it came out, so they judged it. And then even when the flawless pool left, nobody knew it was gone, so people were still acting as if it was a thing. And like that they were playing as if it was a thing. Or just PvP updates were the first week where we had the new PvP sandbox recently. Everybody was running around like chickens with their head cut off because they didn't know that the sandbox had changed. So there's already an information issue. So as content creators, we have a responsibility to do the correct thing, and there's a lot of bad actors. Like I'll call it out there. Like when it comes to Destiny Bulletin or DCB, or there was the Redrix debacle when it came to the D2 Links account. Like there are a lot of bad actors in the community, and it be like that, and they're stopping the flow of progress when it comes to the situation. And when it comes to it, like the wrong people are getting the information and trying to act stupid. And it was even said in chat right now, there's a reason why Bungie doesn't holla at certain podcasts. Hey yo, Bungie, holla at us. We would love to have people on. But regardless, there's a reason why certain people aren't contacted or engaged with by Bungie. So when you act like that and cause problems, you're not able to be a representation of what Bungie wants. And you're biting yourself in the ass right there. And like, that's why I even said, I think it was last week where I was like, yo, there, like this game is supposed to be this prosperous thing about diversity and great things when it comes to the game. And yet people act like it is this, hey, yo, we can have whoever we want in here. We can have racists and homophobia and yada yada. And it's like, y'all wonder why Bungie don't mess with y'all. Y'all wonder why Bungie doesn't cater to y'all.
Give you a little pushback on that one.
Oh wait, hold on.
Like, ooh,
Just
I
say
know
my name. Just say my name, Diva. It's fine.
It's not you. It's not
It's
you.
okay.
It's Bungie. This is for Bungie because they need their medicine on this. I hate to say this, and it's something that's been sizzling on my little soul for a long time here recently, and I'm like, Bungie has what's the word I'm looking for here? They have built a community on like acceptance and like working together over the years. It's been a very accepting and like positive community. But in recent years, I want to say around the Beyond Light into Witch Queen era of the game, after like the big leaving doing the sunsetting, a lot of the community has been fostered around negativity and elitist assholery, like shitbaggery. I really hate to say this, but just as somebody outside looking in, from what I have seen, Bungie responds a little too much in kind to people who are aggressive, toxic, and just when people start coming for Bungie's head, that's when shit gets done. They do not respond when people are kind, like communicating through like the proper channels. Like your voice goes and it feels like you're unheard. But Lord forbid you start costing Bungie some money, you start threatening some devs, and shit
No.
starts flowing.
See,
Like,
that's where I'm gonna disagree. Because like
Okay. Yeah, like I'm over here like I want to hear what Dan has to say on this one.
coming from, I've been in this community for a long time. I think that and just only recently have been able to work with them because of their efforts to work with all sorts of different creators, all sorts of community members through their creator initiative, their global creator initiative.
Okay.
I feel like when you say Bungie, I think you might be seeing like I don't think it's the community team side that really addresses that. In my experience and looking at the community with this, it seems like they're responding with legal action more so than they are actually responding to individuals. And when it becomes something where devs are threatened, they will take care of their own.
Yeah.
I think it is irresponsible to say that they only react when devs are threatened, because there's an implication there where that seems like it's the only way to try to get their attention.
Now, I will say in response to that, I think Bungie, at least from a dev perspective, or like, but we're not more like a corporate perspective, they didn't react until crap hit the fan, specifically when it came to PvP. That one specifically, because the PvP community had asked so long for concentrated help, concentrated this, like help when it comes to cheaters, new maps, like annual updates, etc. for so long. It took literally the entire community, even the PvE and the content creator side of things, going, yo, this is a problem for a strike team, not even a dedicated dev team, a strike team to be presented as an answer. Like I made the joke even once that it felt like Blackburn was out there at gunpoint. While that's not real, it felt like Blackburn was out here at gunpoint, like really out here going, hey, we have an answer. Let us cook. When in reality, y'all should have been cooking for a while. And even then, Grenader Jake has been adamant for a while now that the cheater problem is still a problem, and there's been no answer to that. Granted, I've made the statement before, Bungie can't always speak on their response.
Yeah.
But some kind of response to the cheating problem has yet to be implemented.
An acknowledgement.
And it's like,
would
That's
be
really a concern.
better than absolute silence.
I
But
just don't
I
think
agree
that
with
they
what you
can.
said, Dan, and I'm not saying in the sense
Yeah.
that they only respond to negativity and toxicity. I think they have fostered a community that the players feel like the only avenue to get Bungie's attention is through negativity.
I feel like
from
that's gaming. I feel like that's a gaming
Yeah.
problem. It's not.
Yeah,
It's not
true.
necessarily like their
True.
specific. It's not their specific community. It
Yeah,
is
that's
a
gaming problem,
gaming-wide
period.
community, and with
Yeah.
Destiny 2, they have how many
they
million
are
players?
unfortunately the side of the game or the side of the gaming community that actually does listen to its community. And I do respect that.
Yeah.
100%. Anybody who's like listened to our show, they'll tell you this is like the first time Diva's ever gone so hard on Bungie.
This is the
And
first time he's ever played the villain. Like usually,
Okay,
this man
alright.
like lives and breathes for Bungie. Like
So-
usually, me and Cage that are the controversial ones. So the fact
Gotcha.
that Divas being the villain this week is hilarious.
So
It's very interesting.
I don't want you to get the wrong idea that
No,
I'm just
no,
being
no.
like, Bungie's like I want to bully them.
Like
But
he's Captain
from
Casual.
my-
He defends casuals more than I do half the time.
From my perspective, I hear when I look at the things that get fixed here, I have heard even there was a point where even Bife came onto a video and said, "Bro, I should not be getting so much like negativity from the PvP side of the game, a side of the game I don't even deal with."
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it's
that was
starting
a-
to affect me. And even at that point, Bungie had not even made an attempt to even remotely speak on the PvP problem. It wasn't until so many PvP players came out and said, "You know what? We are done with this game." It
But-
took them to walk away and hemorrhage a bunch of players for them to be like, "Okay, maybe we need to think about this." And
But-
that
I'm
Go
gonna
ahead.
I'm gonna say this, but at the same time, let's give credit where credit's due.
Most definitely.
They did finally acknowledge, yeah, we fucked up. We
They did.
weren't we weren't
And-
paying
and what-
attention,
yeah.
we weren't doing it, and we're gonna fix it. Look
Here-
at
herein lies-
back in August where we were in the PvP community,
Ooh, it was
how
rough.
bad and how rough it
It
was,
was rough.
where it
agree.
is now.
I was on the
I'm
front line
going,
of that.
I'm
It was
going
rough.
to tell you
I-
right now.
I will give
I'm literally
credit.
seeing more and more people go dip their toes, not just in PvP, but also in trials. Okay, I saw tweets.
100%. I
I-
agree.
I
I
saw
There was
agree
tweets
first
so
from
time
hard.
Lighthouse people the past 3
I-
weeks. There's
I
been
saw
first time
tweet-
Lighthouse people.
I saw tweets from Byte engaging with DMG. DMG put out a nice thread yesterday about trials and hey, here's where I'm seeing maybe this is some things that should be looked into. I'm
It's almost like he knows how to give feedback.
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you. And a lot of people were like, whoa, nice take. And even Byte was like, because of persistence, I've actually started dipping my toe in PvP. I'm like, hold on.
No, I keep saying that the
And
passage of persistence and the
I
passage of ferocity is the best way to
100%
play the game at this point. Like I've gone flawless the
100%.
past 4 weeks because of passions of ferocity, because
And
it
then-
lets you get your cushion in, and then you can take a break, and then you can come back. All you need is 4 wins, and you can go see Saint. That is such a great feeling of going, hey, I don't have to fight so much. And what's crazy is I even saw a little bit of the casual community going, like, how does Bungie think we can get 2 wins in a row? And I was like, hold up. That at that point,
You gotta fight for it.
You're reaching too much. Before it was a 7-win gap. Bungie's gone from 7 wins to 2 for the persistence card, and then 3, and then you're locked in and can never flaw your card again for the ferocity. Bungie has beyond met players in the middle, and I love that. I will give utter praise with that. And
As
yet
the
somehow
person
we're still
who
having
has
some
been the
problems with
biggest
that.
advocate for one of those cards since I got here, I completely agree.
Mhm.
But herein lies my critique. And it's not that I don't want to give Bungie credence or like credit for the amazing work that they've done.
Mhm.
My grievance is what it took to get here.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
and that's where the problem truly lies.
And
For
that
us
and
to
that's
get
valid.
to
That's
this
solid.
one point, it took violence, damn near. And that is unacceptable. You should not have to, players should not feel like the only way to get you to do something is violence. And if you reward violence,
That's a bad precedent.
it becomes
Yeah.
a habit. Like
And the thing about it is-
now,
I'm gonna say back in August when the state of the game dropped and the community like came out
or
against
into
Bungie,
Bungie.
I didn't see the level of violence or severe anger like back when DMG used to be the CM.
Mhm.
Like this was definitely a difference in the community. Like some of it was definitely toned down.
Mhm.
There was some bad actors that were out there, doing their round of bullshit.
100%.
But for the most part, a lot of it was dialed down.
Yeah.
But it was enough to say, hey, it was enough to raise the alarms over at Bungie and say, whoa, shit.
Something's wrong here. We
Yeah.
got to do something.
Now, I'm going to agree with Numlock in chat. 100%, there's a way to get feedback, and 99.9999999% from the community can't.
Exactly.
I agree. There is a large portion of the community that does not understand what it means to give positive or critical feedback.
It's always just rage. It's always
Yeah.
rage baiting content rather than being a critique. It's like sometimes, and the thing about it is, like Bungie got to a point where you couldn't make a critique. It was just if you are negative, like it feels like you can't get in a word. And that shouldn't be the response, like the situation ever. It should be, can we have a dialogue, not but like even this week, this past 2 days with trials, there were so many individuals that were so upset. Oh my god, I can't use my auto rifle or my hand cannon and my shotgun. I have to use a pulse rifle or a scout rifle to go play on a specific PvP map. The world is ending because multiplex
Oh my
multiplex
God.
is the trials map. So everyone was yelling in Bungie's replies on Twitter. Oh my god, remove the map, and it's like, bro. That's not the answer. Like there needs to be a better way to go about things, and people don't know how to give valid critique. Because truthfully, I even said in the comments, I'm like, hey, this is a great weekend to mix it up and try some different weapons. I saw someone who literally went uncontested in a round of trials this weekend using symmetry, my dog. And when
Man,
that
I've been wanting
thing
to use
comes
that
out the
again.
cut and does something, that tells me you need to change up your play style. But people don't want to, so they got angry, and Bungie has to put up with that. That's not fair to Bungie. Bungie
It's
shouldn't
not.
have to put up with that. So it truly feels like there needs to be a re-education on how to talk to developers, because otherwise we're gonna deal with a situation where Bungie just doesn't talk to us at all, and I don't think y'all want that. That's not gonna be a good look.
I think that
honestly, and to the sorry, Dan, go ahead.
Oh, I think that there are ways of there are a few people that I look at. No matter what I'm doing, if I'm streaming or if it's trying to learn how to give critique or like trying to do YouTube things, I generally tend to look at people that I respect to learn guidelines for how to go about it. I think DMG is a shining example of how to give a valid critique. I think Skill Up actually does a phenomenal job as well. And
Yeah,
like
100%.
those are people you should be looking to learn how to form feedback in a way that is respectful, critical, like not kowtowing to the problem, but saying, hey, this is a problem, not proposing a fix. If you look at DMGs, he's not even proposing fixes for the problems. He's just saying, hey, this is where it feels bad.
Yeah.
Because it was his job to do so. It was his job to take that feedback and to cycle that into something that he could give to devs, that he could give to the company. And it is the people that are successful in giving good feedback are the people generally that are successful in the areas that you're seeing. It's very rarely do you see the ragers actually make something of themselves outside.
I agree.
I
agree.
As someone who in real life works in the quality assurance in not in the gaming industry, but in the production and industrial side of work, here's the one thing I will share to everyone in the community. You do not have to be an expert in your field to give feedback.
Exactly.
Okay. If you feel that there's a deficit, definitely say, hey, Bungie, in this aspect of the game, I feel like this is not living up to it because X, and just basically say because of X, Y, Z. You do not have to propose a solution. That's not your job. Your job is to identify and say, hey, Bungie, I don't feel rewarded with this, or this doesn't feel like it's living up to what it's intended to. It's the developers. That's their job, to address the deficit. If it is indeed a deficit, or to at least explain, hey, this is not a deficit. Here's why. And that point is dialogue.
And a great example of that, where I will give praise to the PvP strike team, is the giant article we got right before the Guardian Games update, where they broke down, hey, here's what we're seeing from the community. Like, a lot of low-skill players aren't able to respond to a lot of special weapon like situations, or just any situations. We're gonna fix spawns because a lot of people are getting spawn killed. Mercules even said the Firing Line podcast, which was a ground-shaking moment in my opinion, where people were like, oh my god, SMGs are the craziest thing in the world. But he said, look, we've responded to SMGs in one form or another 13 times in the past year, whether it be a PK nerf, whether it be target lock nerf, whether it be this with Immortal or this with this and a multi-mock and yada yada. And yet, the only area we're seeing a problem with SMGs is high-skill players. In low-skill lobbies, all you're seeing is auto rifles. That's the reason why Centrifuge hasn't been nerfed in anything, because it's a great tool for beginners and low-skill players for 6v6. Is that it's a great tool for them. And certain things are going to be good in certain areas, but when all you hear is nerf, 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 you're not willing to hear the responding critique of like even with this weekend with Trials, where you're seeing long range weapons be more of a response. People aren't able to receive the critique of, hey, maybe it's you that needs to change your play style, not the other way around. Not enough people are willing to look in the mirror and hear that argument, and that's the issue, is they're not able to take a step back. And I think that's a really big problem. And I praise the strike team for being like, look, we're making these changes because we need to, like, middle of the ground play this. And they were pretty open with, hey, if y'all can't get down with this new meter special system, we'll just go back to D1 and put it in crates. Like, we'll be done with it. Granted, I'll even admit, the new collision game mode, the crates ain't where it's at, fam, because the amount of people who are just guarding special crates is kind of rough. I'm gonna keep it a buck. But in terms of it, it really feels like Bungie has made the correct assessment when it comes to communication. Like, hey, we're gonna listen to some high skill players, but high skill players, you need to be willing to listen to the low skill players. And like, I always or even from a class perspective, I'll always harken back to what the one developer said on the Fire Line podcast last year, where he was like, look, there's gonna be some class envy when it comes to certain things. Certain classes are going to have some abilities that some others don't, and not enough people are willing to hear that argument. And
can I get some of that for hunters though? Like, just a little bit, just a smidgen. Can I get a little smidgen of that class envy over here for hunters. Just a little bit, not a whole lot.
I don't know, man.
Please.
Stompies might need another nerf. I'm just saying.
When they
But,
become
like,
teleporters,
You can
there will
kiss
be
the
a
best
whole
part
new
of my
love.
ass.
exactly. I'm just saying Titans need blinking
Yeah.
since everyone else has blink. Is all I'm saying.
See,
But
there
like-
you go. There you go. Since the other two got it, this side needs it. And yet, I still don't have my aerial hunter combat class yet. I'm salty.
Hey, all you got Stompies in Manticore now. You can run around with Stompies and Manticore now and be a little attack helicopter. You'll be alright.
Oh,
Look,
that's gonna be sick. But one thing before we wrap up that I do wanna talk about, I do wanna address
Sure, let's go.
is when the whole time gate thing started and the community, which I'm gonna say this respectfully, a lot of the community was very respectful about this, but it was very vocal. The majority of the community were all in agreement that this was an issue.
Mm-hmm.
And I did see some content creators come out and say, why is the community complaining? Why is everyone so negative? Why did it? Here is the thing. And I think all of us, the entire community, needs to learn to read the room.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's going to have a different opinion when it comes to this game. Everyone's going to have a different opinion when it comes to various aspects of this game. We are all allowed to be critical and provide feedback to the developers in what we feel needs to be changed or adjusted, or it's not meeting that goal, what we think is what Destiny 2 is supposed to be hitting. We are allowed that. Okay. And we should not shame anybody from providing feedback. 100%. I will stand with that. And when we see the overall community saying, hey, this problem, to me, calling that negativity, I think was the wrong thing.
Exactly.
That should have been a step back to say, hey, question it. Is that really an issue? Because I saw a lot of people, both content creators, casuals, that said that the original way that they were going to release it, they were going to miss out on certain weapons because of real life stuff going on. Yes, the weapons were going to stay in game permanently. The activity's going to stay in permanently. But for a lot of people, they wanted to get that ornament.
The shinies. They want the
shinies.
And the thing about it is...
And then the other bit in that thread when they responded, they provided additional information that was not in the blog.
They straight up said the drop rates are going to be as higher than Season of the Opulence. If you would have said that during the live stream or in the article, people would have been like, okay, maybe this is somewhat okay, but at the same time, why? Yeah. And they didn't do it's the omission for me. And when it comes to the negativity portion that Cage was talking about, there was a time when Season of Seraph was a thing. And like right before that was Season of Plunder, where it started with the Glad video, where he was like, yo, this gameplay loop is not working anymore, and like forward, where everybody was at negative level 10, where they're like, yo, we're giving Bungie nonstop negativity, there's nothing good in the game anymore, yada yada. This was not that time. And everybody in my comments and my TikTok videos was like, yo, like, why are you yelling? This is a free update, yada, yada. Here's the thing. And I even said it there. Bungie was getting dub after dub after dub in this live stream. And then at the end of it, everyone's ready, excited. Everyone's like ready to like hop on like the campaign Bungie and ride the wave until final shape. And then, like I said earlier, they like said it as they're running out the room, like, "Hey, there's a time gate by," and it's like, why did you just not stick the landing? Why didn't you just ride the wave? Why did you fall flat on your face in the sand? Why didn't you just ride the wave and accept what everyone was hyped about? You had to mess with it. And that's where the issue lies, is that this was one time where everybody and their mama was like, yo, this isn't right. But then the Bungie Defense Squad was like, yo, why are you giving them crap for a free update? maybe because it was deserved for once. Like maybe for
I'll say
once we
this.
needed to give a critique. And granted, where a lot of their was some of it rage based and people were just going off for no reason. Yes, but like we talked about earlier, is there a correct way to respond to this? Yes, and a lot of people were responding to this in the correct way, and some people were still going, "Why are you doing this?" And that's not fair.
Mm.
I'm gonna be honest,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna say this, and I know it's not gonna be everybody's favorite statement. We don't have to talk about this too much, but I just really want to say this.
All right.
There is a difference between a free update and an apology. This
Ooh.
update is an apology update. I understand that it is free. True, it is free. But it's free because, hey, we muffed up. We messed up. And because we messed up, you as the customer are paying a price that you were not intended to pay. So this is our
Paying a
way
price
of
of time.
extending goodwill. Hey, here's some content. Granted, it's not great. It's not great content.
We
And like,
also
look,
don't know what's coming next week, though. Like,
That's true. That's the
only
other thing we're gonna
know-
talk about in
Yeah.
a second. Yeah, like
But-
Bungie straight up hinted at the end of the tweet.
Yeah.
Hey, yo, there's two classic exotic missions we're sliding back out,
So-
and I'll say it right now. God damn it! If we live in a universe where Whisper of the Worm can get some busted shit, I'm gonna be on top of the world. If Outbreak Perfected can live in a universe where I can take Outlaw off and put on a Headseeker, I'm coming for everybody's heads. Like, and here's the thing: a lot of people were upset that there was no Season of the Dawn weapons in this update, in this Brave Arsenal. It was the only like season from the Forsaken era forward that didn't get any love here. What if one of these little things here is gonna have Dawn weapons in the back, like in the back end, because every other exotic mission has weapons to grind for. What if Bungie just goes, "Hey, yo, here's some
is
more
this the
shinies to mess
return
with"?
of the bad juju? That's my question.
Nah,
The
man,
bad
Juice can
juju.
stay where it's at.
So I
Juice
went-
can
so-
stay where it's at.
Yeah,
I'm
so,
sorry.
I'm sorry that I derailed you there, Diva. Like, it was
Like,
just like,
right.
it's incomplete. We don't know everything, so like, it's
I'm not.
it-
Go ahead. Go ahead.
no, it's just tough to judge something when you don't know all the things.
Yeah,
necessarily.
I can see
and
that.
that's why I've been kind of like, for me, I've been holding back, reserving, you
Mhm.
know, full on critique.
Mhm.
You know, that's why I've been like, last week I kind of critiqued a little bit about the Onslaught stuff, gave my opinion on it. That's why this week, you know, I've been, you know, giving my feedback about the weapons, what we're seeing, the time gate, you know, valid, everything valid in relation to this. Next week, when we get the full on picture, at that point, we can sit down and say, you know what? Okay, here's the full course. And I'm gonna put this in the best way possible. The way that they've been doing this out, they've been laying this out, is think of it like a Thanksgiving dinner. Okay.
Mhm.
Onslaught was the freaking turkey. All right. And they went with the tried and true method, a horde mode, which is the equivalent to freaking bacon basting, right?
Mhm.
But now all the weapons, these were the
Problem.
sides. These were the sides. And let me be honest.
If
think about it.
dessert is Whisper,
Hold on.
craftable, I'll be happy.
How are the weapons not the turkey in this analogy?
That's true.
Okay.
That's true.
See, but that's
Let's
another
be honest,
problem
let's be
for
honest.
me.
I mean, Dan, I don't know where you're from, but here in Louisiana, in the South, turkey is like the common thing. Okay, it's the
Okay.
pretty much the meat.
If you don't have a turkey
okay?
at Thanksgiving,
I mean, hey, Blast Furnace
You're
sounds like some
wrong.
pretty good mac and cheese in my
I'm-
house.
I'm
I'm
from-
gonna just
yeah,
say.
Okay, I'm from Indiana, which has no discernible cultural significance whatsoever.
As someone from Ohio, I feel
I mean,
you
we-
on a spiritual level.
We have David Letterman and Vonnegut.
Oh
and,
my
Hey,
God.
hey.
I think that's it. I think that's it.
But
We don't
yeah,
talk about
the
Mellencamp. Go on.
The weapons, just the way that they were going to delay the release of the weapons, it felt like half of your sides were going to be ready when the turkey came out, and then like every 20 minutes another side was going to come out. It's like,
Mm.
you've already eaten your fill, your first plate. Are you really
Mhm.
gonna want to have, you know, a side 20 minutes later and then another side 20 minutes later? No, you
No,
kind of want it all
we
there
eat
so you
until
can
we
make
get the
yourself-
itis.
Now
We
I'll
eat
be
until
real
we
with
get
you.
the
I'll
itis,
be
baby.
real with you. Here in a minute, we're gonna be in a compromising situation next week where we live in a world where everybody wants to grind Iron Banner for the Strand wave frame, but then everybody who still wants to go cook in Prophecy for the guns they didn't get yet are gonna want to go cook there. That's the kind of world we need to live in, where you have places to go for things to grind in different locations.
Choices.
That statement is just triggered me in so many different ways.
Like that's what I think was gonna happen here in a
David's
minute.
like, I'm burnt out, but god damn it, Bungie,
Listen to me.
why?
That's what's
Listen to
gonna
me.
happen next week.
I'm
When
not
we find out,
mad.
hey yo, Whisper of the Worm and Outbreak Perfected got more things for you to hunt for. Like yo, if Whisper's got dawn weapons or something other crazy packed in it, I'm not gonna sleep. Like we gonna have 24-hour subathons of me just in Whisper till I can't
Is
pass
So-
out.
my
So-
concern.
You should sleep. Please sleep.
That
Eat,
Yeah,
touch
I,
some
we,
grass.
don't, we don't need
Alright.
Don't
cranky
forget
J.
to touch some grass.
Grass,
But-
what's that? I need more Whisper. I need more
Do I
Whisper
need to
in my
repeat
life.
last week's
Oh my
statement?
dear.
It's
Oh my dear. But
like grass, I need more
here
Whisper.
is
Whisper's
my
more-
grievance with a lot of what I see happening. And I understand. Like I look at the game not necessarily from a consumer point of view all the time.
Mm.
Sometimes I look at it as somebody who's currently going through, his own mental health like therapy. When I look at this game, I've had conversations with my partner, and it has been enlightening, and it's changed the way I look at the Destiny experience as a veteran player who has come and played in almost every era of Destiny from day one to now. My perspective on what I consider content has vastly changed. And to this point, I'm starting to believe, like, look, maybe the old ways they aren't for me anymore. Right?
Mm.
And I'm okay with that. But all that preamble to say, the grind to me is not considered content.
Mm.
I am a big proponent of the game should be fun first.
Yeah.
I play Iron Banner not to grind weapons, but because I enjoy Iron Banner. That is my favorite time to PvP. Because Iron Banner PvP is just jumping for me. I enjoy it. And
Yeah.
the weapons and the loot are the icing on the cake. Sure, I can want to go for a certain thing, and maybe that might give me to play an extra round or two, extra match or two, but I'm here ultimately because I enjoy it.
Mhm.
But from what I'm seeing, the shift in Bungie's perspective for what content is, it is shifting from good content with some fun weapons that people might want to amazing weapons that people will suffer through content to get.
Mm.
I.e. Prophecy, because I have to play the cube room over and over again for my
And
favorite good shotgun.
I just cannot let that stand. I'm gonna have to call the buck on this one, Bungie. I gotta call the buck on this one. Your content needs to be fun first. Like Onslaught, I'm gonna give it a chance. I'm gonna wait until I got it in my hands to give you a final verdict on it, because I am a big proponent of why did you use Crucible maps when you had Scourge of the Past
I
city
agree.
environment
I agree.
right
I
there
agree.
for you.
Mm.
There you
But
go.
look, that's
Oh,
armchair
God
Devin,
damn.
You had
and
a
I ain't
whole
gonna do that.
cityscape and we didn't even use it. That's a
Like,
good point.
I'm gonna have to look. That's just my suggestion. I was a little salty like
They
it.
could have used that first encounter area right then and there.
Right
and that
there.
would have
It
been
would
Like
have
I
been
hadn't thought about
perfect.
that. That's a really
It's
good
big
point.
enough for you to just change
Mhm.
that little space a couple different ways and mold it into what you need it to be. Perfect.
And I'm gonna tell you right now, that's actually a really big freaking space that they could have done a lot.
A lot with.
Like
And it's not like it's not in the DCV right now either.
Right.
But
Like
then again,
we put the freaking the elixir up in half of it, so like to a certain extent it's available. They can
Yeah.
touch it, so
it makes
like
sense.
it's not
but
like it can't be accessed. But no, like
to a point that like I'm gonna give them the excuse of
Mhm.
time management needed. We had to make something now. And
Showcasing new Crucible maps.
exactly.
That are being
I'm
released.
willing to just let this one go, but I'm telling you right now, Bungie, going forward, this is unacceptable. If this is the level of content that you're gonna put out, and I hate to say this, and just from my perspective, in 4 to 5 months, they were able to roughly make something to really rival what they did with the coils and Riven's layer. And if you're telling me you can do that in 4 to 5 months, how long did it take you to make this?
That's a C-suite decision. That's a C-suite decision.
Yeah,
I'm
That's
I'm
production.
gonna suspend my belief and let it go. I'm not gonna argue with it. I'm gonna let it go. I'm gonna let it be. But ultimately, out of all that entire rant, that entire like thing, all I want Bungie to take away from this is take pride in the quality of your work and make something that the players enjoy playing and not something that the players have to be coined into playing.
Mm.
And I'm going to say this. If you were paying attention, I think it was Thursday night on Twitter, a lot of the Bungie employees were typing out appreciation because, long story short, apparently Bungie had a thing where in-house, some of the teams were recognized for their work on Final Shape and the product that they're going to be releasing soon. And there was a lot of pride amongst the Bungie employees to where even some of the former employees, you know, for them, it was kind of like bittersweet, but at the same time, they're like, yes, this is freaking awesome. I believe a lot of the devs do put a lot of hard effort into the game, and they do, you know, they do celebrate their quality. It's like Dan said, a lot of the decisions, a lot of the things that actually get implemented, it boils down to the decisions of the C-suite. So for a lot of us, when we say, and I have to preface this now, when I say that I have an issue with Bungie about XYZ, I have an issue with the higher ups who are making the calls and saying, hey, this is the direction we're going, or this is what the content we're going to produce. It's them. We need to call them out. It's not the devs. It's not the people that are wanting to put out a game that they want to enjoy, that we know we want to enjoy. Because there have been reports that have stated they've been going to bat for us, saying, hey, this is not what the community wants. But it's been the higher ups that have been saying, no. We don't have to listen to them.
Yeah.
They're going to spend their money regardless. And
all right,
I'm not mad at that.
I'm
going to say my piece and I'm going to let it go.
All right.
I just want this game to be the best it can be.
Yeah.
We all want that. That's the end of the day what we all want. Yeah.
My saying, it stays the same. The second I stop having fun with it, I'm done with it. I'm sorry. That's just where I'm at with it.
The funny thing to say there was like, I want it to be almost as good as it could be.
All right. Well, one thing that I forgot at the top of the show was one thing that we've started new with the show is, Dan, what's your ghost story? What got you to love this game as much as the rest of us? What pulled you in to make you like jump on board with the Destiny train?
I've said this on several different places, but like as I said earlier, I've worked in libraries most of my life, mainly because libraries are wonderful institutions to work at. You should go visit your local library for a myriad different reasons outside of just reading. Even if you can't read, there's something there for you. And one day while I was working in a branch, we had a video game library, because the Blockbuster died, and then
dear.
Womp
but we
R.I.P.
we started stocking games, and Destiny was one of the, like, it had just come out. It had been out like maybe a month, and I was like, this kind of looks fun. I never played Halo. Maybe I should check this out. And what sealed the deal was, like, I saw some sort of like ad online and for it, and I was like, okay, I gotta play that now. Cool, thanks video game. And I'd been kind of dipping my toes back in, because what was also nice about working at libraries is that you could also have like a nightlife, and I was in bands for years. And
Nice.
so
Nice.
I started playing Destiny and got really, really invested in it, listening to podcasts like Guardian Radio and Crucible Radio, and there was Ghost Stories, and then there was Focus Fire Chat. There were all sorts of podcasts about this thing that I loved that just kind of like popped up instantaneously, and I was like, oh, I can listen to all this stuff all the time. I can be completely immersed in Destiny, and I was, and I didn't have a mic, and I didn't have a clan. I was just kind of free roaming. I was just going for it. And I played, after like about a month, I played Vault of Glass with a group of randoms, and I was the guardian that was emoting instead of saying anything to say that I understood.
You're the bane of my existence. Okay, cool.
Yeah, well, yeah. I was that guy. And then like around Kingsfall is when I got in. I was in a Dad's a Destiny clan, even though I'm not a father. Just because I was like, well, I'm kind of a dad. I'm in a band, and and like we're trying to tour and we're trying to do other things. So they'll understand if I'm gone for long stretches of time. And joined Dad's of Destiny High Command 2. It was the sequel to the first one. And like how I got started streaming was I started streaming on Sundays to help guys get through Kingsfall. And so, and like teaching the ropes to folks in my clan. And then that turned into, well, maybe I could stream a little bit more. Maybe like, Jenny was in her master's program, and so Tuesdays and Thursday nights were free. So I was like, okay, well then Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays will be my days that I stream. And that's basically remained for 8 years now. Like, yeah, it'll be 8 years in September. But yeah, that's how I got involved with it. I loved the general aesthetic of the sci-fi with the fantasy, with the shooting. The shooting was really good, and yeah, just a lot of fun. That's what originally got me into it. Had I not joined that Dad's Destiny group, I don't know necessarily if I would have had a content creation career. And some people would be very happy, and then other people would be very upset. And I'd like to think that more people would be upset if I hadn't joined that group.
All right.
Then, yeah.
That's awesome. Okay. Well, the one thing we always do at the end of the show that I should have that was the beginning of the show. Now at the end of the show, what is your closing statement that you want to leave people with before we end the show?
Okay. Closing statement.
I love smacking people with this every time. It's so much fun.
Okay. All right.
Oh my dear.
Hey, it's been a good couple of hours with you guys. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Everybody who's listening to this, I just want you to remember 5 things. Okay, It's okay to take breaks. Be that going to grab dinner, going for a walk, or 2 to 3 months where you just don't do a hobby that you have loved. Because it infuriates you. And it's okay to come back to that too. That's the second thing I want to say. It's okay to come back to it if you feel like you're up to coming back to it. Use your I feels instead of just do's. Remember to take showers often, not just for your loved ones, but also for you. It's clean and you like it. And then the 5th thing that I'm going to say here, the final parting thing, is something that I heard on a podcast. I heard it on the Mike Birbiglia podcast. He had Seth Meyers on recently.
Oh.
And Mike Birbiglia says, what is the best advice that you were ever given? And Seth, I'm kind of half remembering this, so we'll see. We'll see how it stands. But
Okay.
Seth Meyers said something along the lines of, "It's a long life." It was the best advice that he ever got, and it's because the people that you work with right now, you may have fights, you may have quarrels. There might be people in the community that you fight with and have quarrels with. And if it's like small stuff, if it's like just kind of like tiny little slights, is it really worth it to dig in on it when these people could be the folks that are supporting you in the long run? That's it.
That's
That's
beautiful.
deep.
But when it comes to racism and bigotry, fuck that shit. Fuck those
Exactly.
guys. All right.
Exactly.
Right there. Amp that shit up.
All day,
Let's go.
every day, every
There were
day.
6 things. There were 6
All right,
things.
that's
Sorry
fine,
about
that's
that.
fine. That's fine.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
all right, Mr. Villain, Mr. Diva. Now you took your shades
Oh,
off.
no. Now we're back to peaceful, positive diva.
All right, how do you want to leave? How do you want to
Positive
leave
diva.
us
Oh,
this
dear God.
evening, brother? How you want to leave us?
You know what? I think I've been. I feel like I've been unjustly rash to Bungie today. So
You think? Sorry.
I'm gonna leave my final words for Bungie. Like, I'm gonna come with the knowledge and the advice that my co-hosts have left me with today, and I want to try to give a little critique of the game. Hopefully, I do it right, guys. Help me out, please.
All right.
I'm here
Bungie.
for you, buddy. I'm here for you.
Bungie, step into my office. Come sit down. I've got coffee for you. Don't worry. Look, I love your game. It is an amazing experience. I've come here and I have learned so much. I've met wonderful people. And I have had an experience that I will not trade for
Amen.
anything in the world. However, in recent Honey in the Hatchet style, baby. We going Honey in the Hatchet. However, in recent times, I have noticed that you have leaned far more into hardcore engagement statistics instead of leaning into the community that you have fostered here.
Ooh.
And now it feels as if we have sacrificed our community for the sake of engagement. And now everybody's at everybody's throats. And I ask that you help us get back to a point where the community just loves to be with the community. I'm asking you to foster more community in the game going forward. Whether that's improving upon the clan system that you've had in the game since
Don't
year
say
2,
it.
day 1.
Don't say it. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear nightclubs come out of your
It's
mouth.
coming,
Damn it.
baby. It's like, give me nightclubs. Give me a place to
He wants
hang
Final
out with
Fantasy
my
nightclubs so
friends.
bad. That's all he wants.
I really want a place where I can hang out with my friends and do just this, what we've done with this podcast in game. I just want to log in and be like, it's not really anything I'm ready to grind for right now. But you know what? I'm going to pull up at the clan house and I'm going to emote with my little DJ booth. And I'm just going to sit back, listen to some chill music, and just talk with my friends. Talk about the cool roles they got. Talk about the cool engagement and things that they've done in the game. Talk about the things that they've been so excited for. I want that feeling back.
Okay,
And I'm hoping that you would give it or implement that stuff back into the game.
It's called Orbit. Sit in orbit. There you go.
Damn. Okay.
Whitney-
my bad.
Whitney Houston, I want to dance with somebody intensifies. Go, okay,
Yeah.
There
go
you
ahead.
go.
All right, Cajun, my spicy brother. How you want to lead these people?
I'm not saying that right now is the golden days of Destiny 2. I'm not saying that this is absolute perfect top tier, god tier stuff, but Bungie is making strides and the devs are clearly trying to put forth a good effort. I would say take into the light as like Diva put it, this is basically a peace offering to the community. They didn't have to do it. They could have stiffed us, but they didn't. And from the 2 live streams, I could tell that these devs are excited to provide us this content.
Mm.
And if you're excited for this, that's good. If you're not excited for it, well,
That's fine.
once again, that's okay. To
All
the
right.
majority of the community, especially the negative ones, I tell you this. If all you're going to do is come into a comment section, if all you're going to do is come into a stream and say, well, this is why I don't play this game, why are you there? Seriously. I'm honestly to the point, it's like either timeout or ban on site. I don't care. It's like if you enjoy the game or if you want to provide feedback to a game, cool. Let's talk about it. But if you're there to shit on other people's enjoyment, for those on the podcast, for those listening, my middle finger's up and it's aimed directly at you.
Hey. All right.
So-
Oh, go ahead.
I just need to get this off. I feel like this is confession time.
Number 7.
So number 7. So on Threads there was this guy, right? So like I posted this thing. I was like, it was 69 days until Destiny 2. It's funny. It's funny. Like this is a little video. I have little Cade 6 up there, right? I got him sitting right next to the little thing,
Ooh.
right? So I got him sitting next to the thing. It said
Hater.
69. It said 69 days until Destiny 2, and I was like, ha, nice. And I just posted the video. And then somebody was like, I can't wait for the servers to die that day. And then I looked at their profile, and their profile said that they were a fan of the Anaheim Angels, and I was like, okay, they're used to pain. They're used to pain.
Oh!
JP, my
right.
apologies.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. So, there was something got to me earlier this week, and it really bugged me because somebody was in my comment section and was like, "Oh, all you care about is crapping on this company that's a small company and yada yada." I'm gonna leave you with a few things I'm not gonna count though, because I'm not Dan. A, Bungie's not a small company anymore. They've been doing this they've been around the block a few times.
They're
B,
not the biggest, but they're not the smallest.
Yeah. B,
Medium.
Bungie. I love this game more than anything in the world. I have one of your characters' emblem tattooed to my chest. Saint and Osiris are behind me on the wall. I live and breathe this game because it saved my life one of the hardest times of my life 10 years ago. I was even joking with the people who got me into this game just came back to the game and joined our clan. As wild as that is.
It's awesome.
And it is crazy. And I will always thank them because they saved me when I was in my darkest hour. And Zavala was there for me. The game was there for me. And me running around with Saint's helmet on saved me more times than I can count. However, I need this in case of emergency break glass mentality to stop. Diva had a point when he said, "Hey, yo, it literally took bringing back the danger zone of Destiny back to the game to get back in everybody's good book." Yeah. That shouldn't be the case. We should be trying to strive for the best content possible always. And I hate that it had to be a situation of, in case emergency break glass, dig the recluse in the mountaintop out of the trash to make everybody happy. Like, people have been crying for Blast Furnace to come back and Hammerhead to come back for God knows how long. And 801 still selling shaders in cosmetics, which is still the saddest thing to ever happen to this game. That woman deserves better than that. Granted, she deserves better than to have someone's username be her USB port. But that's beside the point. C. And this, I'll let that be my final one because I happen to be around 3 a lot. I am the third after all. Anyway, I need this community to keep striving to be better. I said it last week. I'll say it again here. We need to continue to be better. And we need to do better when it comes to giving critique. But at the same time, on the same token, people need to be allowed to make critique. Yes, we've dealt with a lot of negativity farming over the years, but we need to allow critique to exist. And that's where I'm going to leave that. Folks, thank you for being here. As always, you can check us out on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, all those great places. Check out the merch store. Dan, thank you so much for being here. It was so amazing having you here. You can always come back. We love having you, honestly. Like, this was amazing.
You were fun. That's the highest compliment I can give.
You're always welcome in my fire team, Dan.
Most definitely.
Always
Like, this was amazing. Thank you. Like, I've been looking forward to this for a hot minute. This means a lot. So, folks, we will be back next week, hopefully with me jumping up and down about a craftable whisper. We will catch y'all Starside. Peace out.
Later.